This afternoon, the Patriots look for their 7th win, 7 times as many as they picked up last year.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the New England Patriots versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
Christmas is in the air at Riverfront Stadium, as it's already been a season to celebrate for the New England Patriots. The same cannot be said, though, with the Cincinnati Bengals. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Joel Myers, alongside Dan Hampton, and welcome to Cincinnati. Well, at the start of the season, no one would have counted on the New England Patriots picking up more wins, Dan, than the Cincinnati Bengals. That's the way it's transpired so far this year, though, and it's really been an incredible turnaround led by their head coach, Dick MacPherson.
Well, I think, Coach MacPherson has done a great job. He and his staff have really transformed this team's attitude, but I think it started before that. When Sam Yankovic was hired, he came in and he made some changes, and you can tell players all day about making changes, but until they can see some things happen, they're not going to believe you. And I mean, they changed the turf into natural grass. They put up a practice bubble. They upgraded the practice facilities. I think it's carried over onto the playing field because these guys have a lot more pride about being a New England Patriot now.
At the opposite end of the spectrum on the other sideline today is Bengals head coach Sam Weiss. He still has 2 years remaining on his contract, Dan, but his future is uncertain.
Well, Sam is one of those guys that I think will take care of himself, but he's worried about some of his assistants, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Some of the things that have happened this year have been attributed to bad players, bad player performances rather than not the coaches. And, I think Sam's done a great job through all this adversity.
We are ready to go as Lee Johnson has it teed up at the 35-yard line. And waiting back deep, the tandem of Marvin Allen and John Vaughn. Waiting for the Patriots, and we are underway on the final Sunday of the regular season. The line drive attempt, it's going to be taken at the 5 by John Vaughn. And there is some precipitation in the air. We have not seen much rain today, but as you can see, Vaughn going down very early, sliding his way close to the 25-yard line. The offense led by quarterback Hugh Millen. What a renaissance season has been for that young man. Behind a big offensive line with Bruce Armstrong over on the left side. He's going to the Pro Bowl. Crawford, Chilton, Melander, and Harlow, the rookie, over on the right side. Plenty of changes probably, though, on that offensive line before next year. Russell, the rookie running back, along with John Stevens. The wideouts Pryor and Simpson as McMurtry is hurt. Marv Cook, a great story this year, is the tight end. The first down from just outside the 24 for the Patriots. And play action early for Millen. Nice move to sidestep, but he's sacked. And coming up with a sack.
Well, Joel, that's something we haven't seen an awful lot of from the Cincinnati Bengal defense this year, and that is pass rush. Here, you'll see James Francis kind of slipping underneath Mark Cook, the tight end's block. He forces the quarterback, McMillan, to scramble. And then, of course, they just run him down. And I think that's an important part of the game today. How much pressure can this Cincinnati front generate on Hugh Millen?
So the sack is back to the 21, a loss of 3. And it brings up 2nd and 13. That is now the 60th sack given up. And taking it over the right side, Leonard Russell, who needs 86 yards today to go over the 1,000-yard mark in his rookie season. As we look at the Bengals defensive unit, the front seven, remember this defensive unit, statistically the worst in the NFL. Mitch, Crum, Ryan Rodgers up front, Francis, Barker, Xander, and Williams, the linebackers, and the secondary where they've had a ton of problems this year. Haddix and Thomas, the corners, Fulcher and Bussey are the safeties. That's probably why Hugh Millen wanted to throw in first down. The secondary dead last in the NFL. So now it's 3rd and long. 3rd and 8. From the 26. 3 wide receivers setting up for Millen out of the shotgun. Pocket holds up, has time, and it's dropped. Rob Carpenter couldn't come up with it, the rookie from Syracuse. He was picked up after the first week of the season on waivers. And Bennett defending the play. So 3 snaps and out for New England's offense.
We've got to see a little bit more pressure generated by that front, and that's something we're going to watch all day. But that was a chance for McMillan to get a first down. Obviously, Carpenter just dropped the ball.
Sean McCarthy in his first year out of Purdue, punting back to Mitchell Price. Has a 13-yard average on 12 returns this year. Plenty of room for McCarthy. Hangs up a very high spiral. Price taking it to the 25. Not much blocking up front. And goes only to the 30-yard line. So now the Cincinnati offense, led by Boomer Esiason on the field for the first time. And Boomer, believe it or not, out of 33 quarterbacks that have suited up in the NFL this year, Boomer Esiason ranked number 28. The offensive line, Stratford, second-year man, filling in. Kazerski, plenty of experience. Arthur, a rookie, also filling in because of an injury. And Moyer and Walter over on the right side. And in the backfield.
Please reset the game clock to 13 minutes.
Well, now that Dick Antak has filled us into the game clock, I remind you, Green and Taylor in the backfield, McGee and Brown to the wideouts, and Rodney Holman, the tight end. You look at those wide receivers, and you look at McGee and Brown, two of the best when you look at tandems around the NFL. But that case of drops all the way around for the Cincinnati Bengals this year. They really haven't been able to get the job done.
Well, it's not just the wideouts. The tight end, Rodney Holman, a terrific ball player. I don't think I've ever seen him drop so many balls.
From the 30, first down for Cincinnati. They start with three wide receivers. Reggie Rembert in the game. 90 seconds into the game. Boomer with a long count. Patriots not jumping offside. And Esiason going down the sideline, and it's dropped. There's the case of drops we've been talking about. Eddie Brown was right there. Would have been about a 25 to 30-yard completion.
Doesn't like the way this thing started out. You see Boomer get back, get good protection. He's got Brown running down the sideline on a streak pattern. He should have had this ball. Now, you know, this is something that'll drive a coach and a quarterback crazy. They need to catch the ball. That's really the main ingredient they're missing on offense.
The running play doesn't net much. Harold Green taking it up the middle. Past the 32 to the 33, only 3 yards on the carry. Well, what Sam Weiss was telling us yesterday, we asked him about the atmosphere, and he says, basically, this staff didn't forget how to coach. They took us to the Super Bowl, this entire staff, back in '88, came within 34 seconds of beating the 49ers. As we look at the front seven for the Patriots, Tippett, Lockhart, Brown, and Howard, those very active linebackers. Secondary's been victimized a lot this year. Lepet, Hurst, Coleman, and Gordon. And now it's 3rd and long. 3rd and a little bit more than 6. Esiason has the pocket hold up. And he's going deep down the middle. He's got Eddie Brown, and overthrows him at the 20. That basically typifies the entire season for the Cincinnati Bengals, almost.
Well, I think Boomer Esiason is a terrific quarterback, and if you give him time, he's going to hurt you. There, he just overthrew the receiver by just a stride. But the thing is, this offense has got to be able to catch the ball to move the football. You know, they're not going to be able to do it running the ball every down. They're going to have to throw it and catch it. And that's something they just haven't had this year, receivers catching it.
And we talk about the drops by the receivers, Dan, but it's not exactly been a stellar year for Boomer Esiason either. This is the 3rd time we've seen the Bengals this year. And at times he hasn't looked off the primary very early. And he's also had his problems with 16 interceptions to go along with only 10 touchdowns. As Lee Johnson sends out a wobbler, returnable type, but Henderson's calling for the fair catch, and Patriot fans, well, they held their breath and they're happy because he held on to it. That was a problem for Jerome Henderson last year, or last week rather, against the Jets when he muffed the first 2 and lost the second one, putting the Jets in great field position deep in New England territory. As it's back at the 28 now, there is a flag on the play. We'll be right back to check in with the referee, Dick Antak, for 12:26 left in the first. A lot of decisions to be made as Leonard Russell plows straight ahead to the 32. He gets 4. We'll keep you updated on Leonard Russell's progress on the ground. He needs 86 yards to pick up 1,000 on the season. Odds-on favorite to win Rookie of the Year. I guess the closest to Leonard Russell would be Harvey Williams, the running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. But Leonard yesterday had been talking to the rest of the team about those 86 yards. He said, yeah, yesterday during the walkthrough, every time I walked past the offensive line, I kept going 86, 86.
Oh, these rookies catch on quick nowadays. Unbelievable.
He should have said Stakes from Nebraska watches as well. Leonard Russell again close to the first down marker. Looks like he's just come up maybe a yard short of the first down to the 37. Needed to go near the 38-yard line. And it'll be 3rd and less than a yard.
Well, this is the type of yardage situation that New England really feels good about. 3rd and 1. They don't want to be in 3rd and 8 all day. They want to be in that short yardage when it gets to 3rd down.
The Schick Tracer 10-minute ticker. Dallas already with an early touchdown lead over Atlanta. Remember, if Atlanta wins that game, they are the NFC Western Division champions. They trailed early by 7. Joel Myers, Dan Hampton at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Gloom, chilly afternoon. Leonard Russell has the first down, spinning past the 40. I love the way he runs. It's almost like he delivers a blow as well as accepting one.
You know, he's a real interesting kid, and it was a joy to talk with him yesterday. And he said, you know, the thing about it is, if you're in good enough shape, by the end of the game, I want to get the ball 10 or 12 times because I think those defensive guys are tired of hitting me. I'm 235, 240 pounds, and if you hit a guy like that 25, 30 times, by the end of the game, man, your neck's about to fall off. So he likes to get the ball, especially in the fourth quarter. And last week, he really won the game for New England against the Jets. Got something like 49 yards in the final quarter alone.
36 degrees, game time temperature. Love those meteorologists that said it was going to be around 55 to 60 today. Millen going deep over the middle, has a man wide open. It's complete to Timpson. He may take it the distance and does so. Touchdown, New England. Dick doesn't love it, does he? He's the best cheerleader on that team.
Well, Joel, that's something that you'll see time and time again when you watch this Cincinnati defense. They don't generate a lot of heat on the quarterback, and what you see is cornerbacks left out to dry, and here Wayne Haddix gets left a little bit too long. They're able to run a deep crossing pattern. The safeties are up on the line of scrimmage, worried about the run. There's no help. Touchdown. Now, Hugh Millen has a big fan right here in the form of Dick McPherson, the coach. And that's the thing that makes it a lot of fun to watch New England. They enjoy playing, and they like their coach.
So Timpson with the touchdown. The extra point knocked through by Charlie Bauman. And an early lead for the Patriots with 10 minutes, 17 seconds left in the first 56 yards. And the short kickoff will be taken by James Brooks at the 13. Brooks just barely tripped up crossing the 25. And he goes down outside the 26. Marion Hobby, the first one down there, to get him around the ankles. So the Bengals find themselves in a familiar position, trailing early. So you're down with 10:07 left in the first. Last week against the Steelers, not many yards for Boomer Esiason as they dropped a 17-10 decision to Pittsburgh, and an uncertain future for Chuck Noll, believe it or not, when you talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers in his 23rd year. Harold Green bouncing outside. He gets about 6 to the 31. Or make it 5 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 5. But offensively, it's been a struggle this year in the passing department for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're 18th in total offense. But who would have believed that their passing attack would only average 186 plus yards per game? They're going with their hurry up. They're no huddle, as Boomer told us yesterday. 2nd and a long 5 from the 31. Plenty of time for Esiason, and it's batted down. Garen Barris, who comes off a great effort last week. He got a game ball after the Jets game when Patriots won by 3. He bats it down back at Esiason.
Well, Garen comes in like with a second group on the defensive front, and they rotate those defensive linemen around. And actually, Garen has had an excellent year. He hasn't had as much playing time as he normally gets, but he's the kind of guy that makes big plays like that. He'll get a sack, a big trap. He'll block a pass. He's a very active player, and there you see him getting up, showing a little vertical.
There's a couple in that defensive unit. Not exactly in the Christmas spirit, Barris and also Johnny Rembert. They have not been happy with the lack of playing time. Esiason with the pocket holding up. Has a man. It's complete. Tim McGee, but he's short of the first down. On 3rd and 6, he comes up a yard short. Great tackle by Jerome Henderson to make sure he did not get to the marker.
Well, a lot of the times you'll say, why don't the receiver at least get past the first down marker? Well, a lot of times you're expecting that receiver to break the first tackle and get some extra yards. There is just a sure tackle keeping him from getting the first.
And Dan, with only 3 wins so far this season, actually 2 wins so far this season, what do you have to lose? Sam Weiss says, let's go for it on 4th and a yard, deep in his own territory.
Well, I think that, that has to be the way you played the last game of the year if you have nowhere to go. You've got to show your team you have confidence in them, and you try to breed that by going for it in these type of situations.
4th and just about a yard. And Ickey Woods, does he have enough? He's out to the 37. I believe he got a favorable spot. I believe he's going to have it by about the length of the football. Let's find out, though. Now they're bringing it back just a little bit. I thought it was going to be closer to the stripe, to the yard mark. Now it's right in the middle, and will require a measurement.
Well, it doesn't look like the official was in the Christmas spirit when he gave him this spot, because it looks like Icky actually had at least the ball to the second stripe. There it's almost in between, so it's just going to be on how much chain they've got to pull out of here. Oh, very nice.
And by about 4 lengths.
'Tis the season to be jolly, and Sam likes it.
Said the Bengals keep the ball gambling early. They get it close to the 37, close enough, with 8.5 minutes left in the first quarter for a first down.
Well, you know, you look at this offense and you say, well, why aren't they more productive? You know, of course, they're missing their great left tackle, Anthony Munoz, but they really haven't been that beat up. I think it's just a lack of confidence, because you've got some very talented players over here.
Craig Taylor goes in motion on first down. Esiason dumps it off. It's Harold Green making the miss. Into the secondary, close to another first down. He's about a yard short to 46. And Tim Gordon finally puts him down to the AstroTurf.
Well, you'll see Green here on a cut. Now, this is the type of play this guy can bring into the game. He's almost like instant offense. Here you'll see him slip not one, but 2 tacklers there. Now, New England's a good tackling football team. To have them miss 2 on the same play, you got some running ability.
They do have enough for the first down. At the 47. Harold Green. Blockers out in front. Good cuts by Harold Green. He gets just about 9 on that carry. Inside New England territory at the 44 of the Patriots.
Well, we were talking about Anthony Munoz, the fine left tackle. Well, Stratford, number 78 here, he does a great job on caving Garen Ferris down, opening up that crease out on the end. Stratford, number 76, playing for Munoz, has been able to really get a good job done each and every week, and he only gets better, and he just needs a little size to be really one of the better ones.
Seconds and a yard. It's the no huddle today. Boomer and the Bengals asked him yesterday, would it be the sugar? He said no. We're just going to go with the no huddle. And now movement on the left side. The one pointing it out, David Howard, the linebacker, who's jumping off and coming back, trying to make the call himself.
False start. Offense, number 76, prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Well, it's certainly, as soon as we start talking about a player and how well he's played this year, he'll do something like that. But Stratford just trying to get his set, pulled up a little bit early.
Stratford made the team last year as a free agent. And then you've got a rookie starting at center, Mike Arthur, 5th-round pick out of Texas A&M. Esiason with time and wide open. Craig Taylor has the first down inside the 40. A flag down late. Did Goad rough the quarterback after Esiason already got rid of it? Will it be a personal foul? Yes. And it'll go against the Patriots.
Well, Boomer got pretty good protection that time. We're talking about that offensive line. Of course, they have had a couple injuries there. Kozerski is playing at left guard. He does a pretty good job. Now, that's a penalty that I don't know if Goad could have avoided that.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense, number 72. 15 yards. First down.
When you're a nose tackle, Joe, I mean, you've got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 guys for each and every play, and you're just kind of like a pinball in there, banging through bodies, and then all of a sudden there's a clearing. You kind of throw yourself at the quarterback trying to do your job, and you get called for a penalty like that. Now, we'll have to look at this. You see, I mean, he's going down. He doesn't know Boomer's gotten rid of the ball. Now, we don't want to see Boomer or any other quarterback get hurt unneeded, but, geez, I mean, that's just inertia carrying you back there.
It's down to the 21 of New England. Patriots lead it by 7 with 6 minutes, 17 seconds left in the first quarter. Esiason with time, wide open Holman, touchdown Bengals.
Great protection. Boomer picks out the receiver and fires a strike. Now, that is the Cincinnati Bengal offensive old. And the most important thing was Holman caught the ball. In a season of drops, Boomer is almost so frustrated, it's hard for him to talk about it. He says, hey, I know I don't rank that high. I have a better quarterback than my ranking, but I haven't had the help from the receivers that I normally get. And you've got to have receivers catch the ball for anyone to play quarterback and be effective. Here you'll see Boomer looking to the left. Eddie Brown was coming. He comes back, throws a strike to his tight end, Holman in the end zone. Now that's the kind of Bengal offense that a lot of folks are used to.
Jim Breach in for the point after, and it's all even at Riverfront in Cincinnati on that 21-yard touchdown pass to tight end Rodney Holman from Boomer Esiason with 6:09 left in the first 15. John Vaughn, the rookie running back, will take it back from the 6. He won't go very far. Good coverage downfield by the Bengals. Mitchell Price, the first one down there.
Well, it's the last game of the year for these Bengals, and you kind of think, you wonder when you come to the stadium, Joe, how many of those guys have got their bags packed, their car idling out in the parking lot? Well, it's great to see the special teams play on a day like this. There's not an awful lot of incentive to go out there and bust your tail, and you see the special teams getting downfield, and not only one, but a group of guys right there. Bryce doing a great job trapping. Anytime you trap someone inside the 20 on a kickoff, you've got some good guys covering. That's hard to do. You don't see that very often.
Now we'll find out if this defense that's ranked dead last in the NFL can capitalize and win the war of field position early and keep the Patriots back there. They've had so many problems in the secondary. It'll be Leonard Russell. Only a yard, maybe 2. He had 17 over his first 4 carries, looking for 1,000. He needed 86 coming into the game. He only gets 1 on that carry into the 13. There's the defensive coordinator under a lot of fire in Cincinnati, Dick LeBeau. Now, he was here before Sam Weiss arrived. He was here with previous head coach Forrest Gregg, and there has been a history with this organization that the head coach doesn't always make the decisions regarding his own staff.
Well, obviously, LeBeau has come under on a lot of fire, but the thing is, I mean, this is the same coach and the same staff that got the Bengals into the Super Bowl and about 45 seconds away from winning the World Championship, and it just doesn't, I mean, you just don't lose that. It's not like a wallet where you just leave it someplace. I mean, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken feed. You need some players up front.
Glad you put it that way, partner. 2nd and 9. Millen going for the bundle. He's got a man. It's complete. Rob Carpenter checked that. Michael Timpson with it. Timpson, who had the 60-yard touchdown reception, makes quite a catch to give New England a first down and get them out of a big hole.
Well, Millen has had a problem the last month in practice working with his starting receivers. Here he gets some decent protection. He's able to go to the deep streak, and now that is a great catch there. Now, I mean, that kind of looks like Irving Fryer. That's a terrific catch, and it was great coverage. Eric Thomas not phoning it in today either. I mean, he was stride for stride. It was just a great pass, great catch.
Right now, Timpson in the game, along with Rob Carpenter, because Fryer is banged up as well, a calf injury. He barely made it last week as Leonard Russell spins across the 45 to the 46. He gets 5 more.
Joe, you see a guy like that, 240 pounds, come flying up into the line where you're going to get those linebackers ducking their heads. And that's one of the great moves that Russell has developed over the course of this year, is that spin move. When those safeties and linebackers start ducking their heads for the collision, he spins for another 3, 5, 8 yards. And over the course of the season, if you have enough plays where you can spin for an extra yard or 3, boy, it all adds up. And we're going to watch this guy probably go over the 1,000-yard mark as a rookie. Now, he's only going to get better, and he's a load, especially late in the game.
The countdown is at 63 for 1,000 now for Leonard Russell. He gets it on the pitch. We'll talk about the incentive package he has as well, as he gets maybe a yard out to the 47, and that is all. Now, there's a $100,000 incentive package. It's not just for gaining 1,000 yards in his first season, but a good portion of that $100,000 is predicated on 1,000 yards. Just about, from our reports, just about 75% of the 100,000. And the 2 dreams he had, the 2 goals starting the season for Leonard Russell, a 1,000-yard season and the AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year. Good chance he'll get both.
Well, it could be that Santa Claus comes about 3 or 4 days early for this young man, but he's one of those guys that you can build an offense around.
It's 3rd and a short 5 from the 47. Millen with time, and he's got Timpson, already his favorite target today. Gave up the first down and then got it back into Bengal territory near the Cincinnati 47. Michael Timpson in his 2nd year from Penn State, a 4th-round draft choice last year. Missed most of last season, 11 weeks he was on injured reserve.
Well, this offensive line has done a good job most of the year of run blocking for the Patriots. They are not as adept at picking up the blitzes and pass protecting. They've given up more sacks than anyone in the league, but as far as coming off the line of scrimmage, trying to get a crease for those big backs, they can still do that as well as anyone.
First down near the 47. They set it up on the outside for John Vaughn. He's got blockers. And he's near another first down. He's about a yard short inside the 40. Down to the 39-yard line. Well, when we talked to Hugh Millen and a number of the other Patriots yesterday, all they talked about was three. They want a winning streak going into next season. They want that momentum. They want that carryover because the stability factor is there now. That believability factor that you talked about, Dick McPherson brought up yesterday as well, that the team needed to be believable to be able to sell themselves to the New England area, and they've done that this year.
They really have, and when Sam Yankovic came in and hired this staff, I think they made a great stride in regaining a lot of credibility.
Leonard Russell going nowhere. He's still short of the first down. No gain on the carry. Stopped at the 39. Carl Zander plugged the hole, the inside linebacker. I love what Dick McPherson told us yesterday, though, about the start of the season, because Tommy Hodson was the starting quarterback this year, the first 3-4 games for the New England Patriots. Dick said, if we would have gone with Hugh to start the season, we would have been in big, big trouble, especially when it comes to the believability factor with the team, because the insider was Tommy Hodson. He was here last year. Hugh Millen, the outsider, a Plan B signing from Atlanta. So things really worked out almost in the natural progression they were hoping for.
Well, I think that was the right way to do it. I think what they did in New York was the wrong way, where you brought in the young guys to take the old guys' place. I tell you what, Dick McPherson has done a great job with this team this year.
And Millen looked like he rushed it on 3rd and 2, a punting situation now.
Well, the reason Hugh had to rush that ball was the cornerbacks gave a different look. They were walked off, and then right at the snap, they came running up, trying to get a bump and run. Hugh, knowing to avoid the interception, he's got to fire it in there. But he's learning, and this is a guy that, you know, we saw back in the early parts of the season that was very, very green. Green as grass. And now he is running back Russell and this kid here, Hugh Millen. They're both winners.
Sean McCarthy in for his second punt in the first quarter as Mitchell Price waits back at the 10. And the high wobbler angles over to the far side. Price stays away from it. It takes a New England roll inside the 15, and it'll go out of bounds close to the 11-yard line. So when we return, it'll be the Bengals offensively with the ball officially now at the 12, as it's all even at 7. As the Bengals have it back at their own 12, first down with 43 seconds left in the first quarter. Esiason on the quick one. It's Eddie Brown. And Ronnie Lepet staying close to home, knocks him out of bounds after a gain of only 3. Back to Sam Weiss, though. We were talking yesterday with the Bengals head coach. He said, the team hasn't quit on me. The morale has been there, but we have lacked chemistry. And you can go back to the last cut, right before the start of the regular season. Stanford Jennings, one of the real team leaders, was cut away. And then Dan even go further back, letting Max Montoya get away to the Los Angeles Raiders. Says it's complete. Tim McGee to the 35, almost the 36 for a first down. But I think that's what he was alluding to when he was talking about chemistry.
Well, I think chemistry is very, very important to any winning team. Now, you'll see a team that doesn't win, and you can talk about bad chemistry, but I think winning and chemistry go hand in hand. The better chemistry you have, the more you win. The more you win, the better chemistry you get.
Final play of the first quarter, barring a penalty time, and a man over the middle, Eddie Brown, across the 40 to the 41. So Boomer and the Bengals throwing it frequently in the early going today. We complete the first quarter play at Riverfront, and it's all even at 7. Dan Hampton. Now, Dan, your third year, 1981, the Bears finished at 7-9. What was it like playing the final Sunday of the season in a game that meant absolutely nothing?
Well, two things come to mind. Number one, you're not only going to be evaluated by what you do by your coaches, but you have to earn your teammates' respect every time you go out there. And a lot of times, some of these guys will lose a lot of respect in their teammates' eyes if they don't play today.
Esiason found Rodney Holman behind the safety. Tim Gordon, big play down to the 25.
Well, Rodney Holman has apparently solved a little case of the drops that he had earlier in the year. You see Boomer catch him on a deep fly, actually a deep crossing pattern. Now, Rodney is a big tight end, but he can run, and you can see him run away from safeties.
The hurry up, there's a flag into the air and a dead ball foul against the offense. It will go against the Bengals as they stop play. We've been talking about this defense of Cincinnati, the problems they've had. They're dead last in the NFL in total defense. Let's wait for Dick Hantak. Get back to that thought.
Offense, number 76.
It's on Kirk Scrafford, who's filling in for
Set prior to the snap.
Anthony
5-yard
Munoz,
penalty.
who's on the left side.
Still a first down.
But it's also been a tough year for the secondary of the New England Patriots. They're 27th in the league at defending against the pass.
Well, I think both of these teams have some places where they're going to try to find some help, whether it's Plan B or in the draft. Certainly, New England's glaring weakness right now is finding some people to cover receivers. They're not as good as they have to be to win in the AFC East with the guys they have.
It's back to the 30, where it's 1st and 15 for the Bengals now. First minute of the second quarter. Tied at 7. James Brooks down to the 27 for a gain of just about 3. A fumble at the end of the play. Was he ruled down already, though? The Patriots say they have the ball. Do they have the ball? Yes. New England takes over on the fumble by James Brooks. The official originally pointed in New England's direction. Two teams are changing now, but still no official word from the referee, Dick Antak.
Fumbled by the offense, recovered by the defense. First down.
Thanks for that clarification, Dick.
Well, if the offense lost it, I guess the defense got it. If the officials didn't get it. Well, you'll see Brooks coming up through the line. It looks like someone is going to strip the ball from him. There it is. Well, I think it was Tim Goad, the nose tackle. More or less hanging on from behind, stripping the ball loose.
So the Patriots have it at the 27. It's Leonard Russell. Tough going over the left side. He gets 3 to the 30. It'll bring up 2nd and 7 when we come back. But let's first go to New York now and an update with Bob Costas.
All right, Joel, battle for the final playoff spot in the AFC at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. The Jets go on a 15-play, 64-yard drive, kept the ball for 8.5 minutes, capped it when Brad Baxter dove over from the 1, and they take the lead early in the second on Don Shula's home field, 7-zip. Joel?
Thank you, Bob. 13 minutes, 29 seconds left in the first half. A 2nd and 7 from the 30 for New England. Pocket holding up well for Millen as it's deflected and it falls incomplete. So the Jets with that early lead in the battle for the final playoff spot in the AFC. And don't forget, coming up for many of you on NBC, the second half of our NFL doubleheader. And where will that wild card game be between Kansas City and L.A.? This game will determine that. Will it be at the L.A. Coliseum? Well, if the Raiders win, it'll be at the L.A. Coliseum. Kansas City, with that quick defense, loves to play on the AstroTurf at home at Arrowhead. If they pick up the victory, they are at home for that first-round playoff game. That's all coming up next on NBC. 3rd and 7 from the 30. Pocket collapsing, diving and making the catch, but short of the first down. Marv Cook, his 79th reception of the season. But a punting situation. It's been an incredible year for Marv Cook in his 3rd year from Iowa.
Well, Marv Cook has had an awful lot of problems with his ankles, and it seems he can only play on game day. We'll see the pocket collapse there, but Marv Cook is a great story. You talk about a guy that'll block. He's unselfish. The guys on the team really respect this guy for his courage and his guts. I mean, hey, believe me, I saw him walking around yesterday. He could hardly walk.
Now, did Marv Cook actually come up with the reception? Because after we saw it there, it looked like it may have caught the turf before he gained complete possession.
We'll take a look at it. I thought it was a good catch. Now we see he's got it cradled, and then his left arm comes off of it. Well, I think we're going to have to decide on how much of a Christmas mood the replay guys are today, Joel, to see whether or not they give this to New England.
And our replay official today, none other than Royal Cathcart. Yeah, it looks like a trap. Looks like one they'll bring back. Regardless, still a punting situation for the Patriots. So please don't take a lot of time today, guys.
Ruling on the field was completed pass. After further review, play stands as called. Completed pass.
They didn't take much time. Can't complain with that. And still a punting situation for the Patriots as Mitchell Price will wait for the punt from Sean McCarthy.
Well, if you're from New England, I think it was a royal call.
High wobbler. Rice finally calls for the fair catch, stays away from it. He takes a Patriot roll. Fans don't like the way Mitchell Price has let them roll. The last one rolled down to the 12. This one rolls down to the 11. So when we return, the Bengals once again starting in a big hole deep in their own territory, tied with the Patriots at 7.
The white zone is for a new...
We didn't design the new Mazda MX-3 to be like apple pie.
Having the ball outside of the 25, close to the 26 where it hit. It's back at the 11 as Eddie Brown goes in motion. And Esiason has the pocket holding up well. The dump off Craig Taylor. Slips one tackle, but can't get away from the linebacker Vincent Brown, who leads the Patriots in stops this year. Thought he had a chance, an outside chance to make it to the Pro Bowl, but did not get the nod.
Well, you talk to the guys from New England, and they really like the way Vincent Brown has played football this year. It would have been a nice honor, but you know, you've got to win games to get recognition. 2nd and 6.
Again, plenty of time for Esiason. Going down the sideline and overthrowing Eddie Brown. Maurice Hurst defending on the play. We have an opportunity now to check in on the starter 10-minute ticker, and we were just talking about Vincent Brown as Buffalo has got an early lead now over Detroit. Dallas in quite a duel with a 7-point advantage over Atlanta. Atlanta trying to win the NFC Western Division today. And Pittsburgh on the Gary Anderson field goal with the advantage over Cleveland. Brings up 36. Get back to that Vincent Brown talk in just a second with 11:48 left in the first half. Patriots get back in time. Plenty of time for Esiason, and throws it behind Eddie Brown with a flag down to the play where you normally see a holding call, but was it Tim Goad?
Well, it may be another call on the nose tackle, Tim Goad, for hitting Esiason late.
No.
No, it will be holding.
Or was it a trip?
Well, we're going to get a call here from Dick
Tripping.
Hantag.
Offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, he did not single out the guilty party. But back to Vincent Brown. He's in the last year of his contract with the New England Patriots. And all he has to do is look back at what happened to Johnny Rempert when Johnny Rempert held out. He missed all of camp. Came in just for the first game of the season. Didn't see that many snaps this year and only got a 1-year contract. And right now, obviously not figuring in the plans of the New England Patriots as Henderson waits back for the punt. Flag on the play. It was 4th and 6, so still 5. Going against New England would not pick up the first down for Cincinnati.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 53. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Now we're going to see someone rock back here. Well, it looks like one of the Patriots, number 53, Richard Tardich, more or less thought the blocker had rocked back. He went across the line and touched him, trying to get the play blown dead. Well, it kind of backfired on him. But here's something right here, Joel. Why wouldn't Sam go for it here? It's 4th and less than 1.
Yes.
Now, that would put some fun in this game.
He went for it the last time outside of his own 30-yard line, but this is back at the 20.
Well, we got a rise out of the crowd. I think they kind of thought Sam would go for it, too.
Anderson waiting for the punt from Lee Johnson. Tells his teammates to stay away from it. Did it hit a New England Patriot? They were trying to stay away as Alex Gordon takes it down the field, and they do have the ball.
Yes.
It did go off a Patriot at the 32. An alert play by Alex Gordon. It looked like it caught David Poole, possibly on the shoulder, the reserve defensive back.
Well, we talked about it early. We want to watch the special teams close today because that's where those guys will phone it in.
Touch the receiving team. It can only be recovered and not advanced by the kicking team. 1st down, Cincinnati.
Well,
yes.
Alex Gordon will get credit for the fumble recovery, but they'll rule that as a muff, and you cannot advance a muff. David Poole was over trying to get some kind of a feel on that ball, or maybe setting up a block. He didn't know where the ball was. It hit him. Costly mistake for him. Well, we'll see Poole trying to get away from the ball. He doesn't know where it's at, and it bounces up, catches him in the helmet.
Ruling on the field was it the kick ball and touched the receiving team and recovered by the kicking team. 1st down for the kicking team. The play is being reviewed.
It does look, though, like on that hop, it came up and caught the front of the face mask of David Poole.
Well, you can tell David knows that the ball hit him because you'll see his head come up and he'll start looking for the ball because he knows he didn't want to touch it. Man, that's one of those live hand grenades. You get away from it.
So it's being reviewed by Royal Cathcart.
For the review, play stands is called. Recovery and first down for Cincinnati.
And a lot of people say, well, why can't he advance it? Well, it's called a muff, and it's termed so that you can only recover the ball. You cannot take it and go ahead and try to advance it.
Esiason handing off to Green. Can't get out of the backfield. The linebacker, Vincent Brown, who we were just talking about, in the final year of his contract, stops on the team and stops, and you can see why. He's in his 4th year from Mississippi Valley State. They turned out a pretty decent wide receiver a few years back for the San Francisco 49ers, Mississippi Valley State. Of course, Jerry Rice. So now it's a loss of just about 4 yards. Call it 2nd and 14. Back at the 36. Esiason going deep and overthrowing Eddie Brown again, who had a step on Poole.
Well, it looks like Boomer's plenty pumped up for this game. And, you know, you talk to this guy and you can see the frustration. If a receiver doesn't drop the ball, he's not getting the ball delivered where the receiver can catch it. And it starts to mount up. And you try to press, and you'll see just a stride off. And that's twice on a deep fly pattern. Boomer's overthrown by just a stride, and he knows it. Talk about somebody that's going to be excited about getting to Christmas and kind of putting this year behind him. That's Boomer Esiason.
The starter 10-minute ticker. Jets still maintaining that 7-point lead over the Dolphins in that critical game for the last wild card spot in the AFC. And now Boomer and the Bengals out in the shotgun, looking at 3rd and 14 with 10:45 left in the first half. Movement on both sides.
Well, it looks like Joel Walter, the big right tackle, pulled off just a little bit early. It's number 63 on the right side, and you talk about a guy that gets a Purple Heart.
Ball start. Cincinnati, prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
We were talking to Sam Weiss yesterday about, you know, hey, are you going to get these guys? Is it going to be all hands on deck? He says, let me tell you something. These guys say, I don't care if I couldn't practice all week. I'm going out there, and that's kind of the lead dog right there. He is one of those guys that will go out there and lay it on the line week after week. And he had a huge thigh bruise, could barely walk.
Set the game clock to 10 minutes and 50 seconds. 10 minutes and 50 seconds, please.
Oh, they're putting 8 seconds on the game clock, despite the fact that there was 10:45 left before that snap. So now it's up to 10:50.
Boy, you know, I'm from Arkansas. Is that how they add 8 up here in Cincinnati? 45 to 50.
3rd and 19 now for the Bengals. Pressure from Brent Williams. Esiason flushed out and overthrows Tim McGee. He had McGee inside the 20. He was taken out of the play late by Tony Zachary.
Well, I don't think Boomer really wanted to get the ball in there to McGee because there was 4 New England Patriot defenders around the receiver. We'll see Boomer just trying to get away from the heat. And, of course, now, that, you know, if you look at that, that could have been called interference on Jerome Henderson. Now, that's something I think that New England got away with, but that wasn't a real wise decision. At least Boomer overthrew the ball.
Well, at the outset, it didn't look like a catchable pass. So that was going in Henderson in the Patriots' direction. Otherwise, could have very well been called an interference call. Johnson in to punt it away. Henderson waiting back around the 10. And it finds the end zone. So the Bengals cannot capitalize on that muff punt by New England with a flag on the play. It'll be declined. Procedure against Cincinnati.
Illegal substitution on the offensive team. Substitute did not get inside of the numbers. The penalty is declined. First down, New England.
So the Patriots will have it back at their own 20, still tied at 7. Matching up with the 6 and 9 New England Patriots, guided by quarterback Hugh Millen, who brings them out at the 20-yard line. Leonard Russell breaks the tackle to the outside, but still doesn't get all that much. Only to the 21 for a gain of a yard.
Leonard Russell trying to get something going with the old counter tray that the Redskins made so famous. He was able to run away from 91, Carl Zander, and try to bounce it outside for a yard. But, you know, this guy right here, I'd let him hit it up between the tackles and off tackle all day. When he bounces outside, he's not as effective. You want a guy like this, 235 pounds, hitting it up inside. Don't get outside there on the edge. Hit him, let him go up inside there where those guards and tackles are able to create a seam.
2nd and 9. The tight end Cook with a flag on the play. Short gain out to the 27, near the 28, but the flag came from way back in the secondary in the area of David Fulcher, who's trying to keep up with Michael Timpson. And an automatic first down for New England on defensive holding.
Holding. Defense, number 22, 5-yard penalty, first down.
They call it on Eric Thomas, the cornerback. Tough year for the one they called E.T. Tough for everybody in that secondary, though, when you're dead last against the pass in the NFL. He's in his 5th year from Tulane.
Well, you know, a lot of times those defensive backs will come under a lot of fire if you don't get a pass rush, and it's kind of something that you have to have one help the other. A great pass rush makes great cornerbacks, and great cornerbacks help a great pass rush. So I think they have to get some guys putting pressure on before you can really bring these corners and safeties under fire as much as they've taken.
Millen throwing on first down. John Stevens belted as soon as he took it into the 30-yard line. James Francis on the hit, the outside linebacker. First-round draft choice last year. They need to get their outside backers more involved in the pass rush, Francis and Alfred Williams.
Well, we'll see Francis trying to work up underneath on his zone coverage, able to pull off the tight end and then come up and close. Now, that's what you want out of a linebacker. You want someone that's very active. And I've been watching this guy all day. I mean, he's made some plays, and he's throwing his body around, and that's the type of player that you can build a defense around. Now, they like Francis an awful lot, and, of course, Alfred Williams this year is number 1. On the other side at outside linebacker, they've got 2 guys that are bookends. They just got to kind of fill in the shelf now.
Millen to the other tight end, Ben Coates. And Coates breaks tackles for the first down, going out of bounds at the 42. Now, that almost looked like the touchdown for the tight end for the Steelers last week against Cincinnati when they mailed in that first half, Dan. They were so flat in that first half of last week's game.
Well, Sam Weiss told us last week it was one of those things. He said, I can't explain it. We just were not ready to play the first half. And that's something you have to look for in a football team. Can they get themselves ready to play? Well, here, when you start seeing missed tackles like this, they're just not willing to go a little bit extra. Now, of course, there was 3 guys around Ben Coates. Now, he's a fine football player, but 3 guys should tackle 1 every time.
John Stevens gets the call. And a good run. He's submarine to the 49. But he gets just about 7. And what a compliment to John Stevens when we were talking about Leonard Russell, and I asked him, anybody take you under your wing? Now, under their wing, anybody really give you a good deal of guidance? He said, from day 1, John Stevens has been a great friend. Give me kind of a lay of the land early in my career.
Well, I think that's important, too, because obviously Leonard Russell has taken a little bit of the spotlight away from John Stevens. And John Stevens is a terrific football player, a great running back. But I think that's what you have to have, great character on a team for them to be successful.
It's 2nd and 3, Leonard Russell getting the first down as he takes his shot inside the 45 to the 44. So another first down for the Patriots with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left in the first half.
Well, we'll talk about this guy all day, and why not? I mean, Leonard Russell is a special football player. Now watch this, 240 pounds, able to make quick cuts like that, hit off of his blockers. He has great vision, and for a young guy, that's what you look for. A lot of guys have talent, but how much vision, how much of the intangibles do they bring to the field? Well, this guy's got an awful big bag, and he brings it to, and when he's ready to go on any given day, he's as good as they come in the league.
First down, Cincinnati 44 with Timpson in motion. Play action. Millen has fire all the way downfield and couldn't find him. He was way behind the safeties as Millen runs out of bounds. getting some positive yardage, maybe a yard or two. I loved it when I said to you, Millen, yesterday, have you given much thought to Leonard Russell needing 86 yards? He goes, yeah, I've given it some thought because I got a feeling if I audible out of a running play, the guy's going to choke me. Put his hands around my neck.
Well, you talk about pressure. I mean, you know, obviously you want your teammates to do well, and this is not a game that's crucial to anyone about the playoffs and all those things, but you want to play your best football game, and they're not going to compromise their game plan for Leonard Russell. But Hugh Millen says, hey, I'm sure that if I audible a little bit and give it to him, he'll appreciate it.
2nd and 8. Millen got a couple. Pocket holding up well. And Millen, the crossing pattern to Fryer, who's got another first down. Going out of bounds inside the 30. Well, Irving showing a lot of character. He took a lot of double teams playing with a bad calf last week. Took the attention away from the other side.
Well, I think that if you look at this football team and the way they have been able to change their team's outlook, you have to look at Irving Fryer. I think he is just indicative of the different philosophy that they now possess. And you know, Irving Fryer is about 32 yards away from setting a 1,000-yard season up on the board. And you know, I think it's great. He's got his mind focused. He's a different player than what a lot of people in New England have seen for a lot of years.
First down from the 30. John Russell barely tripped up with a flag on the play where you normally see a holding call.
Well, you want to talk about a holding call. Now, you'll see Tim Crumry, a guy that plays the run as well as anyone in the league, number 69 for the Bengals. He just got body slammed by one of the offensive linemen from New England. We'll get a call here from Dick Hantag. But I'm telling you, this is Major League WWF.
Offense, number 63, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down, first down.
Gene Shelton, the center, who is playing on a bum knee. A youngster out of Texas who's really trying to fight this year. Now, you'll see him when Crumry locked up right in the middle of your screen. Now, look at this. My. I think Hacksaw Dugan could learn a little bit from Mr. Shelton.
An arm drag and a toss without the drive to the abdominal shoulder flex. Under 6 minutes left in the first half. To remind you, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be presenting the Avis We Try Harder Award. It'll be given to the game's MVP. And Millen, on his way down, finds another life. Eludes Crumry, still on his feet, dumps it off to Leonard Russell. Russell gets back the penalty yardage. 9 on the reception to the 31.
Unbelievable.
All the credit in the world to Hugh Millen for not giving up on the play.
Like I said earlier in the broadcast, hey, this guy has grown up right before our eyes, as you know. It's a fourth-year player. He's really like a rookie. Now watch Alfred Williams getting some good pressure. Working on Russell. Russell didn't get him stopped. Well, Hugh Millen just bounced off of there. Came back outside. I mean, it's starting to look like a Three Stooges movie.
Please change the scoreboard to read second down. Thank you.
Jeez, you're gonna think that Hugh Millen will say, hey, check that out, you running backs. I can still move my feet a little bit.
So now 2nd and 11 on the Cincy 31. Short drop, Millen going for the bundle. He's got Fryer, and it's intercepted by Thomas.
Well, Eric Thomas just put a clinic on how to play cornerback. He has been able to stick with these receivers all day, and there it pays off.
I don't understand, though, as Thomas has the interception. They're putting the ball down to the 1-yard line.
Well, you're seeing stride for stride with Irving Fryer. Now, the ball was a little bit underthrown. Now, I can't believe they're trying to put that on the 1. His momentum carried him into the end zone. And, Joel, I think the ball has to come out to the 20.
Early on the field, the defensive back intercepted the ball in the field of play and took it into the end zone where he gave himself up. Therefore, it is a first down, Cincinnati, on the 1-yard line.
Now, hey, we gotta check this out a little closer here, folks.
That may be reviewed while we're away as we come back to Riverfront Stadium. Well, we've just received word from the replay official that the second foot will determine where the ball is put down. And that second foot, Dan, landed just between the 1 and the goal line. The running play. Harold Green out to the 3. So a couple of yards on the carry put down by Andre Tippett and David Howard. Last week, Andre Tippett, as Eric Thomas came up with the interception. He was the motivator, Andre Tippett, in the locker room before the game. Some of the players said he got a little upset. And they say when Andre, who's a quiet guy, gets upset and starts telling everybody what they need to do, well, he gets your attention. 2nd and 8 from his own end zone. Esiason going deep, looking for Eddie Brown, and he takes it inside the 45.
You talk about how this game can change in a heartbeat and how it's just inches away from being a miss or a hit. That is a great, great throw and catch by Boomer to Eddie Brown.
Roughing the passer, low to the face, 15 yards, first down.
Tack on 15 yards, hitting Boomer Esiason in the face mask.
Well, we'll watch Boomer run a little play action. Gets all the way back to about 5 yards deep in the end zone. Now he's coming upfield. He throws off the run. It looks like Smerlish hits him in the face. That's where we get the face mask violation. Now that's great concentration right there.
Was he touched? Was he touched down by the defender?
Well, they've already blown it dead,
Right.
So that won't matter now.
Well, now they're going to find out whether or not he was actually put down by the defensive back.
Unbelievable. And then Eddie, thinking the play's dead, he just runs out of bounds. He may have ran for a touchdown.
This is a charged timeout to the New England Patriots.
So the Patriots use their first of 3 in the first half with 3. It's tied at 7. 3:47 left in the first half. Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton on a first down for the Bengals to the Patriots 28-yard line. Harold Green cutting it back nicely down to the 21. He gets 7 on the carry. Coleman and Henderson in the secondary had to make this stop. And when you talk about the Cincinnati Bengals and their problems, those problems exist during the offseason as well, because they only have one full-time scout, which, Stan, is almost unheard of in the NFL. Most teams have a full scouting staff that works all throughout the college football season. So they are behind just about everybody else in the NFL at looking at the talent, the young talent.
Well, you know, this is an exhausting year, especially this type of season for Sam Wise. But, hey, now they go out and they're all tired and worn out from the season. They don't feel like looking at kids. I mean, I think you've got to have a bunch of scouts to be competitive in this league.
Esiason in trouble. Can he get rid of it? He throws it away in the direction of Eddie Brown, so he doesn't draw a flag.
Well, that was
a play.
That's a terrific play by Boomer. Now, this guy, I mean, you talk about a fighter. We talked about his problems earlier on. He hasn't had the type of year that you would expect, but, I mean, he can do so much with the football, and especially like this. I mean, a lot of guys would have taken a sack, put your offense in a real bad spot. There, he's able to get away and get rid of the ball. You can't coach that kind of stuff.
James Brooks, the only one of the backfield 4 wide receivers. On 3rd and a short 4. 3rd and close to 3. Eddie Brown in motion. It's James Brooks on the misdirection, blocking out in front. He's got the first down inside the 15. Good lead block. And that was from Kirk Strafford, who was pulling on the play.
Well, Cincinnati gives you so many different looks. It's hard to run all these plays in practice and be used to them.
Esiason in trouble over the middle. Touchdown, Tim McGee. There is a flag down, though. Hold everything. A flag at the original line of scrimmage.
Well, Kozerski's saying it's against the Patriots. So it looks like Boomer is able to get a second touchdown toss of the day.
So Tim McGee on the back line of the end zone, waiting, and Esiason found him. But who is the penalty going to go against?
Well, Boomer was able to find McGee deep in the back edge of the end zone where you normally would find your safeties. Well, the safeties were up playing the run, expecting the Bengal offense to go back to the running game. That was a smart call by Boomer to go ahead and throw the ball on first down. Boy, Dick Hantak's been on the tube more than...
We have too many men on the defense, 12 men on the field of play. We also have offside on the defense. Both penalties are declined. Touchdown.
Double jeopardy. Where's the music, Art Fleming?
Oh, boy. It looks like Harry Collins is getting a little earful.
And again, a good job by Esiason to get it away because the pressure was collapsing the pocket as Breach splits the uprights. This week as opposed to last Sunday when they were outgained by the Pittsburgh Steelers 250 to 50. And Johnson gets into it. It'll be from the 1, John Vaughn. And again, he loses his footing with a flag down on the play. Vaughn down to the 15. Was the flag going up against the cover or the kick return team? It was a 99-yard drive, don't forget, for Boomer and the Bengals, their longest of the year, starting with the back of the 1 after the Thomas interception.
Illegal block on the return. Number 60 will penalize 10 yards. First down.
And the penalty called on Marion Hobby. So now, does Dick McPherson, with 2 timeouts remaining and 2:23 left on the clock, want to take some chances this deep in his own territory back at the 8-yard line?
Well, I'm sure he will. And the thing is, Hugh Millen has really gotten so much better at this aspect of the game. Earlier in the year, he was able to bring his team back so much late in the 4th quarter with late scoring drives and able to move the ball. I tell you what, that's one of the things you look for in a young quarterback. Can he handle the pressure when they have to go to the 2-minute offense?
John Stevens on the carry. Can't get to the outside. Only a yard to the 9. And now to the Bengals. Stop the clock. There is a timeout called by Cincinnati. So the Bengals.
Cincinnati, their first timeout. This is a 40-second timeout.
The starter 10-minute ticker. Well, the Jets still maintaining that 7-point lead over Miami for the final wild card spot in the AFC. Buffalo at the half with Frank Reich at quarterback, leading Barry Sanders and the Lions, shutting out the Lions at halftime. A 7-point lead for Dallas as Atlanta tries to take the NFC Western Division. And Cleveland and Pittsburgh even. Battle of field goals early. 2 minutes and 14 seconds left in the first half. Second half of our doubleheader. Will that wild card game between the Chiefs and the Raiders be in Kansas City or Los Angeles? The outcome of the matchup today, the second half of our NBC doubleheader, will determine the home field advantage for one of those two. And not Manny, Mo, and Jack, but Bill, Bob, and O.J. Coming up at halftime, the NFL Live Domino's Pizza halftime report. 11 carries, 35 yards in the countdown to 1,000 yards for Leonard Russell.
Well, you can tell what Boomer's got on his mind. He thinks his defense will stop him. He's telling those guys, hey, I'm going to run a quick series of plays, and he's kind of getting his offensive lineman on the same sheet with him.
It's nice to see he still has confidence because they haven't been able to stop anybody all year long. Second and long. Millen with time, and Irving Fryer with the grab for the first down as he goes out of bounds close to the 25. Boy, you talk about the turnaround of the New England Patriots. What about the turnaround of the career of Irving Fryer? It's been a transformation for the young man in his 8th year from Nebraska.
Well, I just think watching him here today, I mean, here's a guy, he doesn't have to play today. He's got a bad calf, but I expect him...
This is a 2-minute warning.
To only get better. He's one of those guys that you really want to do well because he has changed his attitude about the game.
We'll come back, continue that thought about Irving Fryer. And why stay, but if he stays, will he be allowed to continue to choose the members of his own staff? Because if they decide to make changes, especially on the defensive side, will he be able to pick his own coordinator, his own staff incomplete? As Millen is throwing on first down, going for the out, Timpson's got it to the 43. And does Mike Brown have the confidence in Sam Weish to select his own staff if they decide to make changes at the top office level, at the front office level?
Well, you know, you can talk about this staff and how a lot of folks have really brought them into their sights as far as their criticism. Hey, they don't drop passes. They don't jump off sides. They got to get some more talent in here.
Millen unloads, gets rid of it. Last week he said Coach Mack was his primary target in that windy condition at Giant Stadium when they beat the Jets by 3, and I brought it up to you yesterday. He said, the way our defense has been playing over the last few weeks, the last thing I want is a ton of negative yardage, a lot of sacks. I just want to get rid of it. So Mack may be my primary receiver once again. Here's his primary target last week in the 6-3 victory as Hugh completed 11 of 20. He is now only 10 yards away from throwing for 3,000 yards. That would be the first Patriot quarterback to throw for 3,000 since Tony Eason back in '86. And Millen with time over, throws no, almost pulled in. Carpenter had his hands on the ball.
Well, Rob Carpenter almost made a great catch, wasn't able to bring it down.
Working on Wayne Haddix, just like Pittsburgh was last Sunday. Was cut by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers only a year after making the Pro Bowl as a starting cornerback.
Well, they've got 7 defensive backs in the game right now, so obviously they're expecting the New England offense to throw the ball, but Hugh Millen doesn't seem to be too worried about those 7 DBs. He's throwing the ball ever down.
3rd and 10. From close to the 43 with a pocket hold up. Millen's got time. Now it comes, and he's on his way down.
With Danny Stubbs, we were talking about Haddix as a pickup. Here's another guy they picked up during the middle of the year, and he's been able to give him a little bit of a spark on a pass rush. Stubbs coming from the top of your screen, number 6'7", turning the corner on the rookie, Harlow, able to throw him off,
Cincinnati,
come back for the sack.
Their second timeout. This is a 42nd timeout.
That has been a big problem all year long for the Cincinnati Bengals. Their leading sack man is Tim Crumrine, their nose tackle, with only 4. You look at the 2 defensive ends for the Philadelphia Eagles. They've got combined 29 sacks. The 2 ends for the Cincinnati Bengals, they've combined for 5 sacks this year. You can have the best secondary in the world, but if you don't get pressure on the quarterback, you're not going to be able to get the job done. And it all starts up front.
No, there's no question about it. You talk to Sam Weiss, I said, hey, Santa Claus can give you something in your stocking. What would it be? He said, hey, a big defensive lineman that can flush a quarterback. And obviously Dick LeBeau has come under a lot of criticism, but you've got to have some guys that can rush the passer. We saw a sack there, but I mean, on 1st and 2nd down, you've got to have some guys that can play both run and pass.
Well, we asked Sam about coverages yesterday. He said, we're going to play zone because even when we blitz this year, we still don't get to the quarterback. So we're going to just sit back in our zone. Well, we finally got the quarterback that time. Mitchell Price, will he take one in this afternoon? Waits for the punt from Sean McCarthy. Barely gets it away. The wobbler. Price calling for the fair catch and takes it cleanly on the run. The Bronx cheers from the fans here at Riverfront for Mitchell Price, as now the Bengals, with 1 timeout remaining and 69 seconds left in the first half, have good field position outside of their own 34. Christmas Day, the Clippers and the Lakers. Hopefully you'll be able to join us all. Mike Fratello and Marv Albert courtside. I'll be there as well for the Clippers and the Lakers, the Battle of L.A., and then a day-night doubleheader. Makes you feel like you're back at Fenway Park in Boston, doesn't it, Dan? Larry and Michael.
I like to watch those two anytime they go out on the court.
And Boomer throwing on 1st down. As a man, Eddie Brown to the 44. He was left alone. And the safety finally got to him, Tim Gordon.
Well, one of the keys that you can see today is, except for that opening pass, Boomer hasn't had a receiver drop the ball too often. Here he has some time, able to catch Brown on a deep out.
Boomer with a man over the middle. James Brooks close to the 1st down marker at about the 35. Clock running under 55 seconds left in the half. Over the middle, Brooks wide open, and it's a touchdown for the Bengals.
You want to talk about an offense executing a play. This is a play that we were told by Sam Weiss yesterday, watch for this. They saw this on film. They said, hey, we can incorporate this in the offense. And what they do, they run a play action to JB. James Brown, he kind of gets up to the middle of the line, and then he's isolated on a safety. Here, Boomer's able to pick him up. You see James Brooks just coming through clean. No one able to get him. Jerome Henderson went for the ball. He didn't get it. James Brown touchdown. It's James Brooks touchdown.
Well, he feels good, just like James Brown, and he's got a brand new bag as well. The extra point coming up from Jim Breach.
Well, you can tell they're excited about that because it's always fun to watch a play after you design it to see it work on the field.
It did not take long. Only 29 seconds for the Bengals to take it from their own 34 for the touchdown. They lead it now by 14. Well, the chemistry hasn't been there, as Sam Weiss told us yesterday, but he said the morale has been there, and I believe that because of Sam Weiss, the way he bounces around on the sideline, the way he tries to keep everybody into the contest despite the 2-13 record. Some earlier this year thought that Sam lost control. That's not the way Sam Weiss is perceived here in Cincinnati. He's a very involved individual in all areas. As we look at the starter 10-minute ticker, it's tied now as the Dolphins come through late in the first half to even it up with the Jets. But I talk about Sam Weiss involved in every area. He adopted a couple of years ago a family of 9 right around Christmas time and still helps support that family. And he and his wife do so many other things. They sent out about 300 dolls to the homeless this year, 1,000, better than 1,000 sweatshirts they sent down to the mission. This is a man with a heart of gold. And every Sunday on a home game, you know it, Dan, you've talked to him about it before, he is down at the mission helping out.
You talk about things like that, and you know, hey, this is just a game. He knows that, and he goes far beyond that as far as affecting this community.
It'll be John Vaughn from the 3. Can't find room, and he's nailed back at the 11-yard line. Tough day for the return team, and John Vaughn in particular for the Patriots. So now 34 seconds left in the half. 2 timeouts remaining for New England.
Well, this is probably the worst nightmare for Coach McPherson. He told us yesterday, hey, these are the type of teams that you really are kind of scared of. We've got a better record. A lot of people would think that we would win this game easily. He says, hey, that's the kind of animal that you're scared of. I mean, these players have an awful lot to prove. They got great fan support. Their coaching staff's under a lot of fire. Hey, he's been around this game a long time. He was worried about this team, and it looks like the Bengals have really came to play today. He's trying to get the guys going.
And Dick McPherson tried to calm down John Vaughn with the help of Irving Pryor. Frustration right now on the New England sideline. John Stevens out to the 12, and that is all. So the Patriots will let it roll and head to the halftime locker room down by 14. 14 unanswered points by the Cincinnati Bengals in the second quarter. John Vaughn used only on returns so far today.
Well, it's obvious that he's upset about something, and usually when you see a guy like that who's back there returning a kick and upset, it's because no one's blocking for him.
So successful start for Sam Weiss and the Cincinnati Bengals as they head to the locker room up by 14 over the New England Patriots. Patriots trying to make it a 3-game winning streak to close out the season, but in a deep deficit now. We'll be right back with the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report after a word from the National Football League and a message from your local station.
Good morning, Cincinnati.
Takes an early start.
Leading by 14 points, the Bengals will start with the ball in the second half. It'll be Mike Dingle. Will he stay there? Yes. A couple of yards into the end zone. And welcome back to Cincinnati, Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton. And what a first half it was for Boomer Esiason. It's been a dreadful year for Boomer and all the Bengals offensively, but Boomer hit for 246 yards on 14 of 22 passing in the first 30 minutes of play. And the pocket held up pretty well for the most part.
Well, not only that, but, you know, New England has given up more yards against the pass than anyone would imagine, and probably the worst in the NFL right now. But the receivers have caught the ball. Now, that's a big difference from about a month or two ago. The guys couldn't catch it. Today they are.
now leading by 14. Will they continue to throw the ball? Yes, they will. Play fake for Boomer Esiason. Looked like he was on his way down and in and out of the hands of Harold Green. Lucky that one wasn't intercepted. So as soon as I talk about the protection, Boomer sees heat right in his face.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tim Goad, the nose tackle, is playing a heck of a football game. You'll see number 72 getting right up the middle, getting some pressure, and that was on a double team. So the center, Mike Arthur, is having his hands full with Tim Goad today.
It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 20. Pocket holds up for Boomer, and it's off the fingertips of Craig Taylor. So 2 drops now. We talked about the drop-itis they have had all year long.
Never ceases to amaze me. You talk about a player and or talk about a trend, and all of a sudden what you're talking about, it just reverses. And you know, that's the thing. Boomer's he's probably back there saying, hey guys, come on now. Second half, we need to catch the ball. Sit in practice.
Problem is, Dan, they usually hang on to him in practice. It's game day. They have their problems. 3rd and 10. Movement on the left side. Flags on the play. And a scramble for Boomer. The ball to Harold Green with a nifty move. Still on his feet. And on his way down near the 39. But was it procedure against Cincinnati?
Well, it looked like number 72, Tim Goad, the nose tackle, was trying to get a quick step. Was caught offsides. Boomer wisely decides to try to make something out of it.
And it is offside.
Mike Arthur, the center, wisely quick snaps the ball. Now, some centers, they'll let a defensive lineman get back on sides. It's smart when you catch them in that neutral zone. Snap.
Offside. Defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Well, the first and second down, Tim Goad had done a great job of penetrating and beating a double team there. Caught a little bit offsides.
And the no huddle continues for the Bengals. The dump off to Craig Taylor. No, Harold Green's got it. Waiting for blocking that never develops. But he still gets almost 5 on the reception. Eugene Lockhart, who took the job away from Reggie Rembert, or Johnny Rembert, when he came to camp late, made the stop on that play. Been a tough year for Rembert. Garen Veras, not that many snaps until the second half of the season for Veras as well.
But, you know, you talk about that Patriot defense. You got to think about their linebackers. They are in great shape, and they've got some guys that don't play a lot that could be starting for a lot of other teams. Howard, Rembert, they're all fine players.
2nd and 5 from the 43. James Brooks. They seal off the left side, and then he's spun down. Maurice Hurst, the cornerback. Fans wanted a flag. They thought that he possibly got him in the face, around the face mask area, but that was a clean tackle. It appeared from here.
Well, it looks like he grabbed him by the plate on his shoulder pad. We'll get a chance to see this. No, see, that's on the plate of the shoulder pad. That's not his head. It's like a plate across the top of your shoulder that you can get your hand underneath.
And on the quick count, and on 3rd and short, the Bengals appear to have picked up the first down.
You know, as a defensive player, I really would hate to play against this Bengal offense. For not only, we'll take a look at this again. No, see, that's not a face mask. And it's, obviously, the fans couldn't see it very well. They wanted a call on it, but grabbing him by the shoulder pads.
Offense, number 82, was not set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 3rd down.
It's called on Rodney Holman, the procedure call, so that negates the first down pickup on the carry. And it'll bring up 3rd, just about 7 for the 41.
Well, that's frustrating. You try to go with that quick snap offense, catching your defense in a bad position, and when you jump off sides, it shoot yourself in the foot, as the old cliche goes.
Mike Barber, one of the few times he's been in there today, is in motion. Pocket starting to collapse, and Esiason has it batted away. It's a free ball. Did the offensive lineman get to it? I believe so, yes.
Ken Moyer, the right tackle. No, Ken's playing the right guard today. He wisely jumps on the ball. But that was a great rush
by the offense. 4th
by
down.
the left end here. You'll see Hobby collapsing the pocket down. Then Brent Williams coming around by the outside, grabbing Boomer, forcing the fumble.
Tippett battling with Moyer, and Moyer wins. But the Bengals will still have to punt it away. Lee Johnson in. And Jerome Henderson back at the 26. 3 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Johnson gets it to turn over and sends out a beauty. Over the head of Henderson. Will it die inside the 10? Yes, it will. All the way, still rolling inside the 5. Close to the 2, where Dingle gets down and kisses the ball.
Mike Dingle was trying to blow it into the end zone. I haven't seen that.
Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, Leonard Russell came into the game needing 86 yards to reach the 1,000-yard mark. Just about halfway there at the end of the first half. And Russell gets it. Nothing available over on the left side, though. Diving ahead for maybe a yard, and that is it to the 3. And now that commitment to the ground game, that's all a different story now for the New England Patriots, trailing by 14 with 11 1/4 left in the third.
Well, I think for New England to get back in this game, they're obviously going to have to throw the ball. Russell is a guy that you go to when you're in control or you're reasonably close. Now they're down 14 points. They've got to get back in it by throwing it. And, you know, if there's one thing that you see about the New England offense, it's kind of disturbing. They don't have a big audible package. They've got some check with me's, but you see 8 guys up there on the line of scrimmage. Millen needs to throw the ball under these circumstances.
Leonard Russell finds a seam over to the left side with a 7. Gets 4 on that carry. And let's check in on what Leonard Russell has done yardage-wise. What is it, about 40 yards now? He got 4 in the last, so it is 40 yards on 13 carries for Leonard Russell. And when I said to Leonard, what's it like your first year in the NFL? A new head coach, Dick McPherson. And he said, well, when I first met him, I thought maybe, as we update it now, and he needs 40 yards to become the first Patriot to go over 1,000 since John Stevens. He said, when I first met him, I thought the guy had too much coffee. He was just wired. He never stopped.
He thought he was Joe DiMaggio. The guy was always bouncing around. He says, maybe you need to get that caffeine problem under control. But I tell you what, you just talk to this guy and you get excited about the New England Patriots. He loves it up there, and he says, you know, this could very well be my last job in coaching, and I want to make it a great job. And we talk about that commitment. They have made a lot of great strides this year.
Third and a long 5, close to 6. Millen with time, has a man, and it's just overthrown. Looking for Rob Carpenter, the rookie from Syracuse. So now a punting situation deep in their own territory. They couldn't pick up the first down to give their punters some breathing room. Mitchell Price stayed away from a couple of earlier punts that made that fair catch at the 34 that started the drive that gave them the late touchdown just before halftime. He's waiting for the punt from Sean McCarthy. Line drive kick, fair catch for Price. He's got it at the 41. So exceptional field position when we return for the Bengals and Boomer. They'll have it with a 14-point lead at the Patriots' 41-yard line. Bengals, great field position. The Patriots 41, leading by 14. 10:04 left in the third. Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton. Game time temperature 36 degrees in Cincinnati. Not much wind at all, though. And Mike Dingle inside the 40, down to the 36, gets 5 on the carry where he's put down by Vincent Brown. Not much action for Dingle out of the backfield this year.
Well, Dingle's a gifted football player, but when you've got other guys like Green and Brooks in the backfield, you're not going to get that many carries. Here you'll see the offensive line just stretching that Patriot front, trying to create a seam for it.
It's only the 14th carry of the year for Dingle, who stays in the backfield. The single set behind Esiason. As Boomer has to go right past Dingle And it was a forward pass. The Patriots scrambling, thinking it was possibly
Forward and incomplete.
a lateral.
Third down.
So it'll bring up third now. A long 5, close to 6 yards. And Boomer calling the play, as he told us yesterday, at the line. Won't even be the sugar. They won't even try to huddle too often today. Nickel package in, 5 defensive backs for the Patriots, who have been burned in a big way by Esiason today. Looking for Brooks, and he drops it. Now the linebacker Howard was on the coverage, but it was right there for JB, James Brooks. And now will they go for it on 4th and a long 5? Why not when you're 2 and 13?
Well, I don't think that is the big issue here. I think, you know, if you punt and you make a bad punt, you only gain about 18 yards, 16 yards, something like that. So why not throw it?
They will be going for it on 4th down. It holds up. Brooks has it, but he's short, and it's dropped now.
Well, Jerome Henderson did a great job on closing on James Brooks, knocking the ball out. But even if he would have caught it, I think you've got to go ahead and throw the ball a little bit more downfield.
Time onto the field with the change of possession as the Patriots come up big. Stop the Bengals on 4th and 5. Only going to improve, as you can see, the production they got from their draft last year. Harlow, Russell. The others that have contributed so much is Leonard Russell again tries that left side. Maybe a yard. And that is all. Stuff going for Leonard Russell. He needed 46. He's got a yard on that, so the countdown continues. 45 yards to reach 1,000.
I think you rebuild a franchise around a draft much like this. You know, in '83, the Bears went out and they drafted probably their best class ever. We got 8 starters out of that one draft. Well, I think when we're talking about New England and these young guys like Russell and Henderson on defense, that's how you rebuild a program and do it in a hurry.
2nd, a long 8. Marv Cook has it. Breaks a tackle and gets the first down near the midfield stripe. Now, Marv Cook, don't forget, came into the game with 78 receptions. He needed 7 to break the all-time team record of Stanley Morgan's 84 catches back in '86. And for Marv Cook today,
well, if you got
that is his 2nd reception.
Well, if you're going to pin the Purple Heart on somebody, pin it on this guy here. His legs are so bad that Hugh Millen, the quarterback, told me yesterday for the last month, this guy, I mean, he goes to practice, but he can hardly move 50%. I mean, he can barely trot, let alone run. Yet he gets those ankles all wrapped and taped, and he comes out here, just plays his heart out each and every week.
Irving Fryer's in the game at wideout, and Millen loses it, but gets it back in time. Avoids the disaster back at the 46, and loses just about 4 in the process.
Cincinnati has pretty much been playing a very vanilla front in the zone look. We're here. They're bringing a lot of people, trying to make something happen, and obviously they did make something happen.
Was it Pryor on the end around before the...
That's exactly what it was. But the penetration caused the bobble from Millen.
So it'll bring up 2nd and 14. Pryor is now... Is he 17 yards away, I believe? Yes, he needed 44 coming in for his first 1,000-yard receiving season. He's got 27 yards in receptions so far. 2nd and 14. Cook, his 3rd grab, is to the 49. So that's 81 on the year now for Marv Cook.
If you were to say a couple of years ago, well, this guy will be in the Pro Bowl as a starter, a lot of people say, Marv who? Well, you make a great season like this happen by being there each and every week, by getting out, getting open. And a lot of people don't realize this guy is a good blocker. I mean, you know, he's not just one of those guys that catches 80, 90 passes like a big wideout. Hey, this guy can get in there and handle some linebackers. He's one of the bright spots on this Patriot offense.
Leads all NFL tight ends in receptions. Came in 5th overall among all receivers in the league. As now it's 3rd and 9. And over the middle, it's complete. Timpson, what a day it's been for Michael Timpson. The young man from Penn State has the first down for the Patriots.
Well, Millen going to those crossing patterns, he's hitting his tight end up underneath those safeties. And when those safeties and linebackers start worrying about those underneath catches, then you start running those crossing patterns behind it. Millen showing great maturity for a guy that really hasn't played that long in the NFL.
Long offseason, Dan, but plenty of carryover for performances like this for Michael Timpson. First down from the 37. And he's only playing due to the injury, getting that start because of the injury to McMurtry. Leonard Russell. Stuck between the two tackles today. Inside the 35 to the 34. Officially, they may give him the 33. Yes. Barney Bussey in on the stop. Clock rolls 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter. A 21-7 lead for the Bengals. Just a second, we'll look at the Herd 10-minute ticker as New York has regained the lead over Miami. We'll talk about that in just a second. 2nd and 7. Millen has the pocket hold up. John Stevens hasn't been touched. Now he's put down at the 32. So still well short of the first down. As we look at the Herd's 10-minute ticker, another 1-yard touchdown run, his second of the day, Brad Baxter, giving the Jets a 4-point lead over the Dolphins. What a classic is developing between Atlanta and Dallas. And still all even between those two AFC Central Division rivals, and bitter ones at that, Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And don't forget the second half of our NFL doubleheader. The Chiefs and the Raiders decide who will host that AFC wildcard game between those two teams. And now a big third down for the Patriots. Third and a long 5. Millen has it picked off. Intercepted. Past the 35. Barney Bussey has it all the way to the 40.
Well, if you look to the Patriot defense and a guy in the backfield that will make some big plays, it's Barney Bussey. The pocket collapsing on Millen. He makes a bad decision, trying to hit a deep crossing pattern. Bussey was in a perfect spot there. He was on a crosser. He comes back off, able to back up, get the pick, and try to make something up the sidelines.
So the drive ends in an interception for Bussey and the Bengals. 128 points coming in, 435 now. But they did finally come up with a big play. They get it to 40. Where it's Mike Dingle out of the backfield. Dingle diving ahead for close to the first down marker.
Well, Dingle seeing a lot more action today. Running a real quick GO. That's where the left guard will pull and try to get out there and lead on the outside linebacker, create a little seam there. You try to kick the outside guy out, cave everybody else down, and get a good backup in there for some good yardage.
He's an 8th-round pick, a rookie from South Carolina. Dingle on the misdirection and knifing through a big play by Fred Smerlis.
Well, that's the same play run the opposite way. Fred Smerlis, the old veteran that he is, I mean, this guy is 34 years old and still out there making a few plays like this. It's great to see it, but, you know, that's the thing will kill a play like this. You've got to get backside penetration there. Joe Walter on the right side did not do a good job in making sure Smerlis didn't penetrate.
And now on third, a little more than a yard. Will they keep it on the ground? Taylor in the backfield. Marzetti Woods. Now Craig Taylor in the backfield with Mike Dingle. And Dingle more than enough for the first down into New England territory with the Patriots' 46-yard line. Well, they're taking a long look at Dingle because there are definitely going to be changes in the backfield. James Brooks, one that may not be back next year, like Ickey Woods.
Well, I think you've got to look at these young guys and see if they're a part of your plans. And obviously, Dingle showing that he does have some ability, able to get up in there and make some yards if he has adequate blocking. All these backs from Cincinnati can carry the ball. 2.5 minutes left in the third. Neither team being able to put any points on the board in the third quarter as Dingle pounds it down to the 41. Well, it's obvious that they want to work on that right side of the Patriot front. Brent Williams over on the right side, Garen Ferris, those right defensive ends, they are a lot better rushing the passer than they are playing the run. And also an opportunity, Dan, for
the Bengals to look at those two offensive linemen. Strafford in his second year and rookie Mike Arthur, the center. Their second straight week in the starting lineup, so plenty of film to evaluate the Bengal coaching staff in the offseason.
Well, you know, the normal center, Kuzerski, is playing left guard because Reimers, their fine left guard, is out. So they're having to shuffle that line and make some changes, but they've been blocking well.
Bingo wrapped up by Howard in a hurry. A loss of a yard on that carry. Let's go to New York now on an update with Bob Cobb.
Morning in Milwaukee. The incident is said to have taken place at 2:30 a.m., several hours after the Sixers lost to the Bucks. Barkley was arrested at his hotel around 7 this morning. He made bail of $500. It's expected he'll be charged with battery. Back to Joel Myers.
Well, thank you, Bob. Not the kind of news we like to receive, though, as Mike Dingle took him a quick swing pass. He fumbled at the end of the play, and they had problems getting players off the field, Dan, the defense.
Well, Boomer sees everyone's covered up, so it goes to his outlet man. That could have been close to being a fumble.
The official, the linesman, came in and said he was already down. And there's also an injured Patriot down in the field.
On the play. Cincinnati simulated a substitution. The defense had 12 men on the field. The play is nullified. We'll replay third down.
Well, so often Sam Weish has been accused of trying to catch people and also trying to come up with his own illegal substitutions.
Well, the thing about it is you have to give the defense an opportunity to change personnel when you change personnel. And a lot of times Sam will wait and run a lot of folks in and try to catch that defense in a substitution mode where they're bringing guys in and can't get the other ones off. Well, the way Sam looks at it, hey, the rules are set. If I work within the rules and I can gain an advantage, why not? It takes great organization to be able to do that. And Cincinnati's been able to get an awful lot of positive results with that type of substitution procedure in the last 3 or 4 years. But this year, more than any other, he's run into an awful lot of problems with the officials calling for illegal substitutions.
6 of New England. Clock stopped with 1:21 left in the third.
You know, when you start talking about how this game has been dominated by the Cincinnati Bengals, you got to give that offensive line a lot of credit. You know, Jim McNally, the offensive line coach, has done a great job of keeping these guys together and focused. He's been doing a fine job on that Patriot front today.
Barber is the motion man. Pocket holds up, and the man is there. Tim McGee for the first down inside the 35. Down to the 32. Maurice Hurst on the coverage. Well, we saw so many drops early in the third quarter, but they finally capitalized on a third down. The no huddle in effect. Final minute of the third quarter. And now it looks like the Bengals may have been a little bit too quick for their own good. The size and slowing things down. He could have almost come up with that pick as well, the advantage he had and the way he timed it.
Well, obviously it was a great break on the ball. Here you'll see Boomer going back. Walters, the right tackle, doing a good job on Tippett, giving him a ride by the quarterback. Boomer able to get the ball off, but it wasn't a great decision. That could have been picked.
And nobody between Poole and the end zone if he does come up with the ball. 2nd and 10. From outside the 32.
Well, I think the defense has to make a big play on this drive if they're going to get back in it. For New England to win, they've got to make something happen.
Delay for Dingle. Howard, the linebacker, putting him down. So that is the final play of the third quarter. A third quarter where neither team could come up with any points. It's a 21-7 lead for the Bengals. We'll be right back. These messages for almost 600 yards of total offense between the two. And Dan?
That's got my vote for hat of the day.
It's a 3rd and 9 situation. Go to the 32 on the first play of the fourth quarter for the Bengals. Pocket collapsing. Esiason got it away in time. His arm was in forward progress as he was hit by Andre Tippett.
Well, that's the first time all day I've seen Andre Tippett involved in a play where it made something happen like that. You know, here's a guy that has been through an awful lot of Pro Bowls, and he's been relatively silent. But here you'll see him turning the corner. Walter's unable to keep him out of the pocket. He's able to come back up, strip the ball after Boomer's trying to get it off.
So now Jim Breach is going to try a 50-yard field goal. It'll come out of the hold of Lee Johnson. Last week, Breach missed 3 field goal attempts for only the second time in his 12-year Bengal career. He's hit a 50-yarder this year. Will it go? Does he have the distance? Yes! So finally, points in the second half, and they belong to the Cincinnati Bengals.
I'm sure that there's going to be some discussion about Indianapolis opening up a job.
It was a whisper. That's how quiet that vote was. John Vaughn on the return and takes it across the 26 out to the 27. Well, New England has turned it around so much this year, bringing in Dick McPherson, Sam Yankovic, their CEO. And the turnaround, Hugh Millen brought it up when he regarded to his days in Atlanta last year. They won 5 games last year. Now Atlanta with an opportunity to win their 11th today and win the NFC West. Dallas just a couple of years ago at 1-15. Dallas also doing it through the draft. Troy Aikman was drafted, then Emmitt Smith. And now New England showing the same signs.
Well, you see Atlanta. It was a great draft to turn them around. They were able to get a lot of players out of the deal that with Jeff George, and of course Dallas with the Herschel Walker trade, enabling them to really turn it around as far as personnel. Well, New England with this draft, I think they're well on the way to doing the same.
Play action for Millen. Has to buy some time, and he's hit as he releases it. Well, Hugh Millen, as Alonzo Mitz was the one in there, had been sacked 50 times out of the 59 times the Patriot quarterbacks have gone down this year. He needs a good insurance policy. 200 yards plus on those 15 completions. And for many of you, right after this matchup in Cincinnati today, out at the LA Coliseum, the Raiders playing host to the Chiefs, and Todd Marinovich, former USC Trojan, getting his first career start. 4 wideouts setting up. Millen this time does have time. Coming back on the ball, a nice grab. Irving Fryer. He pulled it off in front of Eric Thomas.
Well, Irving's got a bad calf. You can see it's all wrapped up there. He said it's giving him an awful lot of problems when he really tries to open up and sprint. Here he's able to go ahead and push Thomas off, and then on a quick comeback, Millen throwing a fine ball out there to catch.
Movement in every direction with flags on the play. On a first down series from the 38 for New England.
Well, Pat Harlow, the right tackle who was working.
Start prior to the snap. Offense number 77, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, Pat Harlow, he's a fine-looking rookie, and I think they've got some great bookends here in New England with him and Armstrong, who's going to the Pro Bowl. But, you know, I think you've got to make sure that you get those offensive linemen up there and you know what the snap is, you know where you're going. Now, we talked about Irving Fryer's bad calf. You can see he's got a real heavy wrap on that, and he can't really open it up all the way.
First and 15. Millen overshooting and wide of the target, Irving Fryer. 13:44 left in the fourth. They've got to produce points out of this drive.
Well, we talked about the Cincinnati pass rush being a factor today, and for the most part, they've been able to generate a pretty decent rush on Hugh Millen. But let's don't forget that New England's major Achilles heel, as far as a heel or a problem, has been protecting the quarterback. They've given him more sacks than anyone else in the league, so it may be a little bit deceiving about this pass rush.
We just saw Harold Green going off the field. Dingle getting the ball to work now as Millen hits Fryer, and he's got 1,000 yards, I believe, with that reception. Let's see where they put it down. Outside of the 40 to the 41 at exactly 7 yards. So Irving Fryer, with that grab for the first time in his career, has hit the 1,000-yard mark in receiving.
You know, when this guy was drafted #1 in the entire draft a long time ago, I mean, it seems like, hey, he was going to turn out to be a bust, but he changed his attitude, and he's become a leader on this team.
Millen has it deflected and almost picked off, and then it goes by the defender, Dan, to Fryer. He couldn't believe the knuckleball was there. So they failed to convert on third down.
Well, I just think it's a great story because a lot of times you see an awfully talented guy like that not produce, and then he kind of gets lost in the shuffle. Well, when this new staff came in, they said Irving down, said, hey, either you can be with us and be a leader, or you can go someplace else. And Irving, I think, has showed great maturity this year. I think it's a great turnaround story.
McCarthy has been busy. As Mitchell Price waits back at the 25. Price gets a block. A couple of blocks, and he's on his way. Price. McCarthy got him around the ankles. He hits the ground. Will they call him down? Yes, at the 48. And then Harry Colin finally, after McCarthy got him low, Colin finished up. Price almost went the distance.
The returner was ruled down by contact. First down, Cincinnati.
Well, Price has a great return.
Today, dominating performance over New England, leading 24-7. Big hole over the right side for Mike Dingle. And he gets 4 inside the 45. Tippett making the hit along with Poole.
Well, you know, if you're on the outside, you hear about Cincinnati's problems and how they've only won two games, and you know, you kind of think you need to get a dog catcher, not a coach, because you think that the players are just not getting it done, and the coaching staff has really taken an awful lot of heat about it, Joel. But I don't think they're that far away from being a good football team again. They need to change the personnel, and they need to change the attitude more than anything, though. They've got to get that winning spirit back.
Play fake for Boomer. Looking deep for Eddie Brown. And it's batted away by Hurst. Almost had the interception.
Maurice Hurst has went about having a great season that nobody has really noticed. You know, you talk to Coach McPherson, and one of the guys he singles out quickly is Maurice Hurst. He says this guy is going to be a great player.
Was that a doubleheader?
I think it has to be, doesn't it? Too bad it wasn't a single-hander. Oh, yeah.
And a goal on the header.
I tell you what, these guys could go out for the Winter Soccer League.
3rd and 6 from the 45 for the Bengals. 12:08 left. Pocket holds up, dumped off to Taylor. Going to get to the first down marker. I believe he's right at it. It looked initially like he was short. Now they put him down outside of the 39. You'd have to believe they're going again. It's going to be 4th and inches.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Not much of a decision for Sam Weiss and the 2-13 Bengals.
Well, I think the interesting thing here would be, is he just going to go ahead and sneak it for the first? Or are you going to have Boomer raise up and hit somebody on a quick play action?
Now let's see what kind of spot he got from the linesman coming in on the far side. And I believe he's got enough.
Oh, yeah, that was a good surge by the center, Mike Arthur, and Kozerski and Moyer, the 2 guards.
And they do have the first down without a measurement. Nick McPherson on the other side, vehemently trying to get the chains onto the field. But it will not work. As Esiason of the quick count gets the first down.
You know, Coach Mack said, you know, I really feel like this team needs to win this game for our attitude to be positive and on the upswing in the offseason. Well, unless they get it going on offense, they're not going to have as good an offseason as he hoped.
In and out of the hands of Dingle. Jerome Henderson on top of the play, the defensive back. He still wants that measurement.
I love this guy. And what's that guy's name again? Oh, yeah, that's right.
What was it Tim Green told us? One of the phrases that Dick McPherson used to always use when Tim Green of the Falcons was playing for him at Syracuse was, now, gentlemen, don't forget, keep all extraneous stimuli away.
Oh, he likes to focus on the job at hand. For the most part, this New England team has done that this year.
2nd and 10. Greg Taylor. Did he fumble? I believe he did. Did the Patriots come up with it? They're saying they took the ball away from Craig Taylor.
Fumbled by the offense, recovered by the defense. First down, New England.
So the Patriots do get it back with 10:48 left.
Well, it looks like Tim Gold has just stripped the ball away from Taylor. We'll see Taylor getting out, sees the big knot of folks. He wants to come back. Tim Gold strips it out of his hand, and then 96, Brent Williams comes up and pounces on it.
Actually, Garen Barris there.
Is it Garen?
Yes, back after an injury earlier in the half.
Well, I think that is what they have to get back in this game. The defense had to make a big play to kind of get this offense going again.
Replay is going to review, but I believe it is going to stand.
Oh, it's got to be a fumble here. You'll see Gold spin off and slap the ball out. Now, right there, it looks like Garen Barris kept Garen's laying on the ball right there.
It's loose before he comes down.
Exactly. Oh, that has to be a fumble. And a nice job recovering that by Garen's belly.
Is that the pancake technique?
Oh, yes. He's kind of getting ready for that Santa Claus suit, getting his padding in there. Nope. There's no doubt that this is a fumble. It has to be New England ball.
Will you guarantee that, partner?
Oh, without a doubt.
Royal Cathcart, the replay official. I ask you if you'll guarantee it, because anytime you guarantee it'll go the other way, buddy.
Oh, it looks like it. I cannot believe that is a fumble. That is a fumble.
And what a break for Cincinnati getting the ball back.
There is a reversal.
Well,
the
Coach Mack can't believe it either.
Ruled down by contact.
So I asked for that guarantee. I knew it'd be. I
guarantee I have no idea what's going to be called.
They're saying his knee was down before the ball came out.
Well, we'll watch it one more time. Taylor has the ball stripped right there. Now he's bobbling it. Now his knee is down.
Yes, his knee did go down.
And the ball's out now. Well, one knee equals 2 feet apparently, and that's what they're going on.
So now it's going to be third down for the Bengals.
It will be third down. Cincinnati's ball.
Boomer, excuse us, we don't mean to wake you. Boomer's like, all right, either we get it to play with it or we don't. Tell me what I got to do. I got Christmas shopping.
So now they're looking at a 3rd and 7. Almost 8 from the 36. A 24-7 lead for the Bengals. Last week we saw the Atlanta Falcons that went from worst to possibly first with a win today. Well, the Bengals have gone from first to worst. They won the AFC Central Division with a 9-7 record last year, as they're now looking for the official spot of the ball. Well, his knee was down just outside of the 36. Been a long day for Royal Cathcart and the officials. Plenty of reviewable plays.
Well, I think that, you know, at this stage of the game, it's going to get a little sloppy, and I think it'd be
we are trying to determine where the yard to gain stake is to be located.
Okay. Well, in the Christmas spirit, we here at NBC are going to try to help the officials determine the spot one more time. And it looks like it'll be right on the 36.
I understand they are getting help now from MIT. They're on the phone with MIT and
oh boy.
It is 3rd and 7.
Okay. We'll get this thing underway here in a second, Sam.
this has got to be frustrating for the players.
Well, you know, I was asked this week by a writer in New England, do I believe in replay? Well, I do, and I think it's a good tool, but I don't like to see it disrupt the time of the game like this. I mean, there's a flow, and then you get guys standing around. They're not active, and you know, it's kind of easy to lose your concentration. I don't like to see it stop a game like this.
So now they roll the clock, and we are finally ready to go.
Gentlemen, start your engines again. Let's go.
Boomer underthrows Barber, who is wide open. Well, just what the doctor ordered. Bob, please, we need it. An update with Bob in New York.
Whatever I can do to help, Joel, and here is a glimpse at the game you've all been asking about. Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Bubby Brister zips this one over the middle to Dwight Stone. Lewis Lips helps to spring him with a terrific block. It's a 65-yard touchdown. Pittsburgh early in the fourth at home, leading Cleveland 10-3.
Thank you, Bob. Jump in anytime. Feel free. 10.5 minutes left. Joel Myers with Dan Hampton at Riverfront. Icicles forming on our earlobes as we speak. Low snap for Lee Johnson. Can he get it out of bounds? No. Just barely found its way into the end zone. Mike Dingle was back there downfield, but he couldn't get a hand on the ball. By time into the field with 10:23 remaining, and still a 17-point lead for the Bengals. There is something definitely wrong with this picture.
Well, it looks like John Belushi has come back in reincarnation as a tiger.
10:23 left. A first down for the Patriots. And Timpson on that crossing pattern loses it. Still loose, and I believe New England got it back. What a mistake, though, by the defensive, it looked like the linebacker, who did not just fall on the ball.
Well, he landed the right guard, was hustling down there. He was able to get back on the ball. We'll see it. Good protection, a good pass. Timpson on a crossing pattern here. He doesn't feel that
with a fumble recovered by the defense, Cincinnati, who in turn fumbled the ball. The ball was recovered by New England. First down.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that play-by-play call there. You know, I think the great shot on that play that a lot of people won't realize, John Stevens was the guy that caused the fumble, the running back.
He knocked it away from Fulcher. Cook with the reception. He gets 6 on that catch. And for Marv Cook, that is his 4th reception.
Well, you know, you always talk about defensive personalities, guys that like to hit. Well, you can see right here, John Stevens could play some safety. He's able to knock the ball away from Fulcher to get it back for his offense.
Seconds, a short 5, close to 4. Pocket holds up for Millen, looking for Fryer. What a grab by Irving to keep both feet in bounds. First down inside the 50.
And that's something Hugh Millen talked about yesterday with us. He says, you know, my guys have been so beat up. And Mercury, he's on IR. He says, Fryer, he's got a bad calf. He can't run. My tight end, Cook, he can. But here, that shows great concentration, but it's precision offense. Perfect pass, perfect route, perfect about getting the ball in and your feet inbounds at the same time.
Timpson on the crossing pattern. Couple of nifty moves. Loses it again. And now, does it go to the Bengals? Yes. Timpson wasn't down quite yet. He lost it for the 2nd time on the drive, but the Bengals get it back.
Well, for the 2nd time in this drive, Timpson runs a great pattern, catches the ball, but he fumbles it on contact.
Followed by a fumble, recovered by the defense. First and down, 10, Cincinnati.
Well, it's obvious there. If you watch that replay, the ball popped out way before he was down.
Hard to believe. We've seen 8 turnovers, but not so hard to believe when you consider that Cincinnati has the most giveaways coming into the game in the AFC. They had coughed it up 40 times, now 43. Cold weather didn't bother you at Soldier Field, did it? James Brooks to the 32, and that is it. You enjoyed that cold weather, didn't you? As we look at the Budweiser 10-minute ticker.
Well, I just like to watch the expression on running back's face when you hit him when it's below 0. It does something to you.
So
it kind of warms you up.
You really are a heartwarming guy.
Oh, geez. You know, and I get that warm feeling all over when you see a receiver separated from the ball. Oh, it's beautiful.
Raul Alegre had that field goal for the Jets to give New York a 4-point lead over Miami. That crucial game down at Joe Robbie for the final AFC wildcard spot. Clock rolls, 8:45 remaining. Brooks again. Penalty flag on the play as Brooks goes close to the 35.
Well, it kind of looks like the air is slowly seeping out of the New England defense. They've been on the field an awful lot today. And now you're seeing some of the guys get a little sloppy, try to arm tackle.
Well, face mask on the defense, 5 yards.
You know, and that's something that you've got to really work on is your attitude.
Second down.
If you're out there the entire game like this, when your offense is sputtering and staggering, well, you've got to stay pumped up. You've got to keep telling yourself, hey, let's try to get a turnover. Let's try to make something happen to give our offense a little spark of life.
We've just received word that Harold Green, the running back, leading ground gainer for the Bengals this year, has suffered bruised ribs and most likely will not be back for the final 8:18. Down is over, so now it's 2nd and a yard. Looking for Eddie Brown, and he's got the first down. He's all the way up to the midfield stripe. Coming up for many of you on NBC, the second half of our doubleheader, the Chiefs and the Raiders at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. And that game will determine the sites of that first-round wild card game between those same two. Nights, and it's followed by a Disney classic, A Mom for Christmas. Esiason has Holman complete inside the 20. All the way down to the 11. Talk about pinpoint passing.
Well, right cornerback Maurice Hurst whiffs Rodney Holman, the tight end. Now watch, you'll see from the left of your screen, number 37, Hurst, the corner, come through here trying to get the pick. He whiffs everyone. Now, on a play like that, you've got to have your corner separate the man from the ball. There, Hurst went for the pick. You've got to play a little bit better team defense on those type of long balls. You can't go for the pick all the time. You've got to make sure you make a collision if you can't get it for sure.
First and 10 from outside the 11, Dan. You were about to say.
Oh, that great concentration by Holman. It's obvious that he's over his drops now.
Flag on the play as Craig Taylor slides down to the 6-yard line, getting 5 on the carry.
Gets to the 6-yard line.
What was the flag all about, though? It is going to be going against New England.
Yeah, you can tell by the way those guys are kind of hands on their hips and kind of milling around. They finally have run out of the emotion that you can build up during the week. You try to get your mojo together and get a concentrated effort. It's obvious that they're kind of getting wore down now from being out there all day.
Defense, number 56, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
The quiet leader, Andre Tippett.
Well, he's locked up on Holman, the tight end. He's trying to get a good jam on him. Now, he didn't check his alignment. You'll see him trying to get on Holman.
It's now 1st and 5 from the 6. A 24-7 lead for Cincinnati, looking for more with 6.5 minutes to play. Boomer throwing. Look for Holman and McGee out of the end zone.
Boy, Andre Tippett unloaded on Boomer Esiason. Now, Boomer will be talking in single-syllable words for a week if he gets too many more shots like that. And you can see it shook him up a little bit. You'll see they're trying to roll away from Tippett. Tippett coming on a blitz on the backside, able to give a shot to Esiason. I think Boomer wanted a call on that.
Why is it every time I see a defensive player get a good one on an offensive player, I hear a smile in your voice?
Hey, those guys make an awful lot of money over there throwing the ball.
That's the reason behind it all. It comes out.
Boomer denies he's making $3 million. I don't know. $3 million's enough if you get too many shots like that.
Dingle barely holding on to the ball. It'll bring up now 3rd. Or was that Ickey Woods? Yes, Ickey Woods, 30, not 38. His first carry of the day. A shuffle back to Ickey. Was that a Garen Barris dancing
I believe
for him?
it was. Oh, I tell you what. Seems like Garen Veras has not lost his sense of humor. Icky is a guy that they expected to help a lot more this year and hasn't really been able to get the job done due to injuries or a variety of reasons. But I kind of think that, you know, Sam Weiss depended on Icky Woods to have a big year, and he just hasn't had it.
And most will be surprised if he's in the uniform for Cincinnati next year. Boomer in trouble, into the end zone, and it's incomplete. Almost intercepted. And another shot given to Boomer Esiason.
Well, we're seeing Williams coming here at the last second. Now, you know, you got to think that, hey, even though this is a game that we want to win, and Boomer's pretty much won the thing already, I think. I think unless New England can get something going, obviously, very quick, I don't know if I'd be giving my starting quarterback too many shots like that. Sam probably is. Sam, thanks a lot, Boomer. I appreciate your effort today.
Reach in for the field goal attempt of 25 yards. And now it is a 20-point lead for the Patriots, or the Bengals, rather. So Patriots get ready to get it back with 5:27 remaining. Looking at the general manager of the Cincinnati Bengals, Mike Brown. Plenty of decisions to be made. Now, will Sam Weiss be back? Will his defensive staff be back? As John Vaughn brings it back. Looking for blocking that never develops with a flag down in the play. At the 19-yard line, Vaughn put down.
Well, I think it's obvious that, you know, when you talk about coaches and how you might have to make a change, and there's going to be an awful lot of changes around the league, but I just think when you see a guy like this and the way that all of his players respect him. Now, he said, hey, I've got some guys that I don't want back, and we've got to make some changes. Fine. But I just think that, you know, a guy like Sam Weiss,
on return,
he's
number
a great
91,
coach. You give him a chance to coach.
We will penalize from the spot of the foul, half the distance to the goal line, first down.
And honestly, playing, you know, so well today, it shows that he hasn't lost the team's attention. You know, if the guys would have just kind of came out here and threw it out on the field and kind of mailed it in, you'd say, well, maybe he hasn't. You know, maybe it is time to make a change. But I just see Sam Weiss as a guy that the NFL needs, and you know, I don't like to see too much criticism thrown his way, because it's basically a lack of talent that has put him in this situation.
From the 8, Millen out of the shotgun. And he's on his way down at the 4. Alex Gordon gets the sack.
Well, number 58, Alex Gordon, who has been playing on the right side, rushing the passer here. He's locked up on Stevens, the fullback, able to chuck him, get him a sack.
That is the 4th sack of the day for the Bengals. Millen out of his own end zone, almost intercepted by Eric Thomas.
Well, that's nothing new to Hugh Millen. He has had an awful hard time standing up in the pocket game after game. He's been sacked 4 times, but hit an awful lot of times when he's been able to get rid of it. But that Cincinnati pass rush has not been this consistent all year, and that's probably the big weakness of the team. It's good to see those guys up front making something happen.
On 3rd and long, is it a safety? He got the ball out of the end zone.
Oh.
Just barely.
Boy, I tell you what, Alex Gordon wants a sack for a safety. Well, he gets a sack, but Millen, I think, was able to stretch the ball out of the end zone. Now we'll see the pocket collapsing. Now, obviously, that is a mismatch. John Stevens is a fine fullback, but you don't want a guy like that blocking a linebacker every down.
He's wrapped up in things, obviously.
Oh, man. Jeez. I wonder how things are at the home today.
And now Sean McCarthy does not have enough room. But they are going to review that last play.
The play is being reviewed. Please return the play clock to 10 seconds.
And obviously they're trying to determine whether or not his knee was down before he got the ball out of the end zone.
Well, I think you'd have to go with the general rule of thought when you're trying to get into the end zone. Now, just imagine this is a running back trying to get into the end zone. A lot of times they will give him that for a touchdown. Well, if they give that for a touchdown, well, they got to give it to the quarterback if he gets it back out of the end zone.
Jets and Miami go to overtime to decide the final wild card spot in the AFC as Raul Alegre on the final play of regulation hit a 43-yard field goal for New York. So the Jets, with the injury to Pat Leahy, get a place kicker in for the final Sunday of the season, and does it ever pay off? And now Cleveland, as we look at the Budweiser 10-minute ticker, finally gets a touchdown and trails the Steelers by 7. Don't forget, coming up next on NBC, the Chiefs and the Raiders at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Still waiting for the review from the replay official, Royal Cathcart. It is going to be a reversal.
There's a reversal. The quarterback has ruled in the end zone for the safety.
You got to think that Dick McPherson has said, all right, things aren't going our way today. But, you know, I think this loss will put a bad taste in the coaching staff for New England's mouth, but they really have done a great job turning it around, and this is the type of thing that'll help Cincinnati turn it around next year. You know, if things would have worked out poorly for them today, it were all off season, the confidence level would really continue downward. But now they've won, they've beaten a pretty good team here in New England. They've got all off season to kind of build on that, and they haven't had an awful lot to build on this year. You talk about rebuilding a team in a hurry, but, you know, I just think Sam Weiss has got to get some help in the scouting department. And, if, you know, Joe, you talk about, you know, got to get some more players. Well, if you look at some of the drafts that they've had, I mean, Cincinnati has probably drafted as poorly as anyone in the NFL. Childress, a big offensive guard, was cut. He was a second-round pick. Carpenter, their fourth-round pick this year. I mean, they need some more scouts to find some talent.
It'll be brought back by Mike Barber. And Barber out of bounds across the 40 to the 41-yard line. So a time out of the field, 4:14 left in the season for the Bengals and the Patriots. Donald Hollis taking over at quarterback now for Boomer Esiason. He's their fourth-round draft choice this year, a rookie from Rice. Craig Taylor, the only one in the backfield. And Taylor with good yardage across the 45 out to the 47-yard line. Eugene Lockhart wrapping up the running back finally.
You know, you talk to these players from Cincinnati, and it's obvious that, you know, they still believe in Sam Weiss. And probably his greatest supporter on the team is Boomer Esiason. And you talk about a guy that goes to bat for his coach. He's pointed fingers and basically said, don't blame Sam. We got a good coach.
And the employee owners of Avis salute the game's MVP, Boomer Esiason, throwing for better than 300 yards today, 333. He's the winner of the We Try Harder Award. Avis, the official car rental company of the NFL. Seconds, just about 5. Craig Taylor. No gain on that carry, maybe a loss of a yard. Back to the 45. Vincent Brown, first one in there, the linebacker. So the clock continues to roll. Down to about 3 minutes left in the game. In our camcorder replay of the game, the touchdown for JB, James Brooks.
Well, this is a great illustration of how great coaches can devise plays and organize them in practice, and they run them so well in the games. That was a play we were told about by Sam Weiss. It worked perfectly. You couldn't draw it up any better.
Third, make it just about 7. And Hollis going for Caddis, and he's got it for the first down. Put out of bounds by Gordon. Eric Caddis, his first catch of the day in his 6th year for Michigan.
Well, Boomer Esiason obviously is going to be the quarterback around here for quite some time, but in Caddis they've got a guy that they really like. He's big and strong, and he's got a fine arm, and here probably the hardest throw for a quarterback to make is that deep out pattern. You're throwing the ball some 40 yards. I mean, he put it on the money.
Well, they're talking about evaluating their tight ends as well. Holman, Caddis, and Riggs. They've got plenty of experience at that position. But too many drops this year at that position as well. Rembert goes in motion and a timeout called by Hollis.
Timeout, Cincinnati. Their first timeout. This is a 40-second timeout.
CA Showtime with Bob Costas and Quinn Buckner. They're in overtime to decide the final playoff spot in the AFC. The Jets in Miami at Joe Robbie. Pittsburgh leading by 7 late against their division rival. And the late game's just underway. Nothing doing so far out west. As well as at Philadelphia. 2 minutes, 40 seconds remaining. Hollis throwing for Rembert. And Rembert breaks a tackle down the sideline. Fumbling the ball. But it's out of bounds with a first down. Inside the 25 of the 23.
Well, Maurice Hurst, number 37, the right corner, went for the pick. Well, actually missed a tackle here. A few minutes ago, we saw him go for an interception, missed a tackle. Here, you see him come up, get another whiff. Take a quick look at this. Now, when you start showing that you miss tackles as a cornerback, they're going to keep coming at you. You've got to be able to tackle and to be a sure tackler when you play in the defensive secondary. That's something you can't do. It usually results in either a score or a big game.
It's at the 23 where it's first down for the Bengals. James Brooks put down by Lockhart in a hurry. Lockhart filling the hole well. And that should take us down to the 2-minute warning.
You know, you're talking about this New England team and how deep they are at linebacker. You know, Lockhart played down in Dallas, and of course, David Howard, a guy that made a lot of plays for New England last week in that Jet game. But, you know, when you talk about these guys to Coach Mack, he says, hey, these guys kind of gave us some class and kind of showed us how to win, and they've been a great addition to the Patriots.
This is the 2-minute warning.
We have reached the 2-minute warning, as we'll be right back to Cincinnati. In the Orange Bowl, Hollis throwing, and now running it. Hollis with room inside the 10, and he slides down right at the 9-yard line. He's got a first down. Clock continues to move with 1:45 remaining. You know, the Patriots can't wait to get out, and the Bengals are looking for more.
Well, it's just a naked bootleg. You get a defense all worried about stopping the run. When in a must-stop situation, you can sneak a quarterback out of the pocket and make something happen like this. Or you talk about this Cincinnati offense. I don't think you can give that offensive line enough credit today. I mean, they have really been able to move the ball, whether they're throwing it or running it. And the offensive line is a spot that, you know, had some injuries. They could have had a game where they just took it off, but they came out here and they've done a good job.
And now Hollis takes a snap, puts a knee down. And it'll be one more snap and it's over. So a disappointment for New England after a very successful season. After going 1-15 last year, they will finish the campaign at 6-10 this season. Our producer today, Glenn Adamo. Our director, John Gilmartin. Our associate director, Dick Ellis. Our PA, Bill Hertzman. And holiday greetings from all of us at NBC Sports, as that'll be the final snap. And two coaches getting together, two very likable ones, Sam Weish and Dick McPherson. As it is now over in Cincinnati. So the Bengals finally get the victory. They're now 3-13 to close out the campaign. Dick McPherson knows he will be back, but what about Sam Weish? Will he return? Partner, I've enjoyed it all year long. Look forward to next season, Dan.
Well, it's been a great treat working with you and the other guys in the truck. And I tell you what, it's been a great rookie year for me. I've enjoyed it.
Once again, that final score, the Bengals beat the Patriots 29-7. I'm Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton. Have a great holiday season, everyone. Stay tuned for the second half of our NFL doubleheader. You look at the